Hello everyone, we're back with Fate Stay Night Remastered, and we're going to be continuing the prologue today because, well, it's much longer than I expected and I couldn't finish it last stream. But we're going to be starting off by taking Archer for a walk around the town, which he probably knows already because we know who he is, even though he says he doesn't know who he is, Rin doesn't know who he is. So we're going to continue. So I take Archer outside. Clicky City, my hometown, is broadly divided into two halves. There's Miyama, which is left over from the village the city grew out of, and Shinto, the developing modern region across the river. My house is in Miyama, the old part. Miyama is itself split into two areas. The European-style neighborhood, originally inhabited by immigrants from abroad, and the old Japanese-style houses set against the mountainous backdrop. Both areas are situated on hilltops along the outskirts of town. The street dividing the two residential areas is fairly normal by comparison. How normal, you ask? This normal. This is the crossroads of Miyama. On one side lies the road going up the hill to the European neighborhoods where I live. Opposite it is the road to the Japanese houses, and between them is the path leading to Shinto, where my school and the shopping areas are, as well as Ryujo. Touching grass with Archer, yes! We're going outside with Archer. We're showing him around Huiki. Where my school and the shopping areas are, as well as Ryudo Temple in the mountains. We come to the bridge connecting Shinto and Miyama. Years ago, a big train station went up in Shinto, bringing with it frenzied urbanization. They may belong to the same municipality, but Miyama and Shinto couldn't be more different. I am bugged with. The name Huiki is written with the kanji for winter tree, supposedly inspired by the long winters here, which, by the by, are pretty long. Despite that, temperatures are warm. February here is only about as cold as the very start of winter elsewhere. I bet if you randomly started digging, you'd turn up a hot spring or two. Though of course, our temperature weather disqualifies this town as a hot spring resort location. We've got an odd climate where the mild winters suddenly turn to springtime bloom come April. We're going through these areas really quickly. This is what Shinto looks like. A number of tall buildings have been erected as if in a hurry, giving the hastily developed city a distinctively artificial feel. If it all happened in the last decade or so too. 10 years ago, there was a large fire that wiped out a residential area. We know what fire that is. Someone built a bunch of grass and metal buildings on the depopulated land. And here is the center of it all.
ここがシントの公園よ。これで主だったところは歩いて回ったわけだけど、感想は?
I asked Archer, who's next to me. Of course, he's invisible.
公園だ。だというのに人気がないのは何か理由でもあるのか。
やっぱりそう見える？まあ、ここはちょっとした曰くがあるから。
I look out over the park. You'd think that a wide open space like this would have children playing in it, even on a weekday. But instead, there are only a handful of people. The place feels dull and lifeless.
10年前の話よ。この辺り一帯で大きな火事があったんだって。火は一日燃え続けて、雨が降り出した頃に消えたんだとか。その後町は復興したけど、ここだけはそのままなの。焼け野原になって何もなくなったから公園にしたらしいわ。
Archer says nothing, but I can tell he's sensed something odd, even if I can't see him.
気づいたみたいね。そうよ。ここが前回の聖杯戦争決着の地。 私も事情は知らないけど、前回の聖杯戦争はここで終結してそれきり。
Oh, this music.
なるほど。それでこんなにもここは怨念に満ちているというわけか。
わかる
Oh,
の？
this
そういう
music.
の。
I'm getting feels.
サーバントというのは霊体だ。そのあり方は怨念、猛襲に近い。故に同じ無念には敏感なのさ。街中でも濃い場所はあるが、ここは別格だ。我らから見れば固有結界のそれに近い。
Kosaka mutters under her breath. Archer's inflectionless voice mentions an unusual bit of magical jargon. Oh, they're gonna explain reality marbles? In name-bounded fields, mages call them reality marbles. Reality marbles are consisted of one of the apexes of magecraft. They're said to be infinitely close to true magic. For the last few centuries, boundless fields have served as mages' defensive barriers. To put it in simple terms, they're like a home security system with real teeth. Bounded fields are conversely erected on a piece of land or a building to guard against outside threats. They're merely an alteration of an area that already exists. Reality marbles, however, are something else entirely. You can think of them as a space that consumes reality itself. When a mage materializes their imaginary world, a representation of their mind, and overwrites the real world with it, we call that resulting field a reality marble. It's a large area magecraft that rebuilds the world according to a mage's wishes.
リン、どうした？
We're literally in a field with Archer touching grass.
おう、ちょっと意外だったから。こういう結界だなんて、アーチャーのくせに珍しい言葉を知ってるなって。
I wonder why.
知っていてはおかしいか。
だってそうじゃない。こういう結界っていうのは魔術師にとっては禁忌中の禁忌、奥義の中の奥義だもの。アーチャーであるあなたが知ってるなんて筋違いよ。
Foreshadowing, yeah, the foreshadowing. Even she's suspicious, though. She has a feeling. I shoot a quizzical gaze in his general direction. In reply, I feel an incorporeal sigh.
リン、英雄とは剣術、魔術に長けたものを指す。アーチャーだからといって弓しか使えないと思うのは勝手だが、
The archer class really is
私以
made
外
of
のサーバン
archers.
トにそんな楽観は持たないでくれ。
Oof. That does make sense when he puts it like that.
わかったわよ。今のは軽率な発言だったわ。次からは気をつけるからこれでいいでしょ。
リン、ズバリ言おう。君は優秀だが、それゆえに他人を過小評価する欠点がある。成人するまでには強制したまえ。
何気に失礼なこと言うわね、あんた。
But break my bad habit. He's talking about me like an unruly
いや、
racehorse.
失礼。別にリンがジャジャ馬だと言ったわけ
Wait,
だ
how did he know that? I didn't say that out loud.
イメージ通りの表現を使っただけというか。
なおさら悪いわ。
My right hand suddenly flares with pain.
ちょっと黙って、あーちゃん。
The command spells on my right hand hurt. They're throbbing, almost like a dull alarm warning their
誰か
owner.
に見られてる。
I scan my surroundings. I mentally weave a detection web and cast it out all over the park.
私じゃ見つけられない。あーちゃん、あなたは？
難しいな。私には視線すら感じられん。
ってことは、見てるのはマスターね。
I don't know who it is, but if Archer can't tell, then it must be a master. We don't even have all 7 yet, but the fighting could start at any time. Maybe who's ever watching me is up for an early
レイ
skirmish.
ジはレイジに反応する。マスターであるのなら誰がマスターであるかは出会えば感じられるということか。だがそれならリンにも相手が識別できるのではないか。
ええ、けど行為の術者
I'm
なら
trying to
自
remember
分の魔
what
力ぐらい
happened
隠し
in
通
the
せる。
anime.
いくら霊樹同士が
At
反
the end
応
of
するって
the
言って
first
も
episode or
その霊
episode
樹だって
0,
魔力で発動するも
she
の
fought
よ。
with Lancer.
大元
厄介だな。ではこちらはいいように位置を知らせているということか。
でしょうね。まあ私だって家探しすれば魔力殺しぐらいは見つかるだろうけど。
必要ないと。
そうだって隠さなければ向こうからやってきてくれるでしょ。こっちから出向く手間が省けるわ。
Archer doesn't respond. Maybe he's irritated with me.
何よ、自信過剰はいけないって言いたいの？
I ask, a little defensive, thinking of our earlier exchanges. Archer mentally brushes the question
君はそ
aside.
のままが一番強い。小物には付きまとわせてやるがよかろう。
I can feel the smirk in his tone. I'm not saying I like what he said, but it is enough of an olive branch, I suppose. We start walking around town again. I spend the day talking to him. I spend the day taking him to all sorts of important places, and even drop by some less significant spots that might be useful to know. After dinner, I make for our final stop. It is now after 7 in the evening. This is a good chance to show him the very best vantage point in the city. I'm gonna be on top of those. Ah! Oh, the iconic shot of them on the roof and Archer jumping off the roof. The wind howls. We're atop the tallest building in Shinto. A commanding view of the city makes for a fitting end to our
ど
tour.
う？ここなら見通しがいいでしょ、あーちゃん。
So, pretty great view, isn't it, Archer?
将来君と付き合う男に同情するな。よくもまあここまで好き勝手連れ回してくれたものだ。
何か言った、あーちゃん。
Huh? What did you say,
素
Archer?
直な感想を少しと。確かにいい場所だ。初めからここに来れば歩き回る必要もなかったのだが。
何言ってるのよ。確かに見晴らしはいいけど、ここからわかるのは街の前景だけじゃない。実際にその場に行かないと街の作りはわからないわ。
What are you talking about? It's nice, sure, but you need to visit places to really get a lay of the land. This only gives you a bird's eye view of the
そ
city.
うでもないが、アーチャーのクラスは伊達ではないぞ。旧兵は目が良くなければ務まらん。
そうなの？それじゃあここから家が見える？あーちゃん。
Really? Can you see my house from here then?
いや、さすがに隣町までは見えない。せいぜい橋あたりまでだな。そこまで。
嘘。タイルって橋のタイル？
No way, the tiles on the bridge? I didn't expect his vision to be as good as the telescope I often see on rooftops. Sharp eye doesn't begin to cut it.
びっくり。アーチャーって本当にアーチャーなんだ。
I'm surprised. You really are an archer.
リン、まさかとは思うが、君、私をバカにしているんじゃないだろうな。
そんなわけないでしょ。たださ、あなたってアーチャーって言われには弓使いっぽくないからつい勘違いしてただけ。
Of course not. I just didn't take you for the bow and arrow type. My
そ
mistake.
れは問題発言だ。帰ってから追求しよう。
With that, Archer goes quiet for a while. He must like the landscape from up here. He's probably considering the layout of the city. I shouldn't interrupt him while he's thinking. I step away from Archer and approach the edge of the rooftop. All I can see from here are the lights below. Headlights flow through the streets, and I can make out people on the way home from work. I can't tell what kind of cars they are or who exactly is walking. Wait, archers actually use bows? What timeline is this? I mean... We see Archer use swords for the fight in episode 0. And then we see him use bows later. I can see them, but not clearly. It's not unlike how I could tell someone was watching me earlier, even if I couldn't pinpoint
少
them.
なくとも神道を根城にしている奴が一人いる。
At the very least, I know someone's made their base in Shinto. I squint down toward the ground. There are 7 masters in total. I don't know who they are, nor which servants are with them. At this point, every master is probably gathering intelligence on their rivals. Suddenly, I feel someone's eyes on me. There's no reaction from my command spells. I simply sense that someone else is looking at me.
下
Down there? I peer down. People are walking on the street, but one in particular is gazing up at me as if staring at the moon. I'm not sure exactly who that is. I can't see for certain, and yet I know exactly who. I can't believe the guy. What's he doing out this late?
敵を見つけたのか
A certain Shiro. Archer calls out to me. Maybe he can make out my rising hostility.
別にただの知り合い。私たちには関係のない一般人よ。
Not really, it's just someone I know. A normal person who has nothing to do with us. Unable to clamp it down, I irrationally snap back at him and step away from the roof's edge. He couldn't have seen me from the ground. I'm sure it was just a coincidence. I haven't given myself away, and yet... My mage side is screaming at me for allowing an eyewitness to catch sight of me. By the time I get back to Miyama, it's 9 o'clock p.m. Unlike Shinto, Miyama is mostly residential. After 9, there isn't really anyone outside and the streets are silent as if it's much later at night.
こんなところね。街の作りは大体わかった？
That's it for the tour. Did you get a good look at the city?
ああ町のことならわかるあとは泳い掴んでいくさ
なら今日はここまでね。私もまだ本調子じゃないし、家に戻って休みましょう。
Then we're done for the day. I'm still not feeling great, so I'm going home to rest. I start up the hill at a relaxed pace. Wait, is this when she bumps into Gilgamesh? Or is that a different... I think that's after she meets Shiro. When I notice someone up ahead.
さくら？
Is that Sakura? Uh-oh. Now would not be a good time to run into her.
リン何を隠れている
黙ってて。うん。
Alright, she didn't go to school.
あ
She
そこにい
overslept.
る
I
の知
completely
り合いなの
forgot.
よ。今日は学校休んだし、あんまり顔を合わせたくないの。
Hello, Funtime Freddy. Quiet! There's someone I know up ahead. I skipped school today, so I don't want her to see me. As I answer, I keep an eye on her. In the middle of the street, there's the first-year student I know. Oh, yeah, it is Gil. And a foreigner I don't. They're talking. No, it's more like he's trying to pick her up while she'd rather be anywhere else.
知り合いとは外国人の方か
いいえ、知らない。
Hmm.
この辺りは洋館が多いから、どっかよそ
Okay,
か
I
ら
didn't
遊びに来てるん
misremember.
じゃない
That's good. No, I don't know who that is. There's a lot of European houses here, so maybe he's a tourist. Even as I finish the sentence, I'm mentally telling myself off for being so soft on that girl.
あ、じゃあ、あいつ人間？
Archer, is he human?
さあ実態はあるから人間なのだろう少なくともサーバントではない
そうよね。マスターでもないし、ただの血は喧嘩か。
Yeah, he isn't a master either, so it's probably just some lover's tiff. Though even though I know she isn't the sort to get caught up in something like
二人と
that,
も言ったな 女は坂を登っていく。男は
The blonde-haired man descends via the street we came by.
それじゃああなたはここを使って。私はもう眠るけど、何か質問はある？
You can use this room. Any questions before I go to bed?
とりわけ重要な疑問はない。すぐに戦闘を仕掛けない君の判断は正しいよ。今夜は魔力の回復を行うべきだろう。
それじゃあ明日、今朝の紅茶をよろしくね。
Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Make me that tea again. Once I'm back in my room, the fatigue washes over me.
そうだ。眠る前にキレイに連絡しないと。
Oh yeah, I need to call Kirei first. That annoying priest left me a message. By now he's probably sent for the backup mage. It isn't my problem, but he is my legal guardian. I owe him a phone call at least.
電話と。
Phone. I punch his number into the telephone. Before long, the fake priest picks it up.
キレイ？私だけど、昨日サーバントと契約したから、正式にマスター登録お願い。
Kirei, it's me. I contracted a servant yesterday, so you can register me as a master now. There's a brief pause. Kirei's silence is deafening. I can feel his weight even through the earpiece.
いいだろ。ではどうする？一度こちらに顔を出さないか。君のご両親から預かっているも
Is
の
it the
もある。
dagger? Is it the Azoth dagger?
君がマスターになった場合にのみ、
Yeah.
成人前に伝えてほしいと頼まれているのだが。
ああ、それって父さんの遺言のこと？それならもう解読して手に入れたからいいわ。それじゃ気が向いたらお邪魔するからよろしく。
Oh, are you talking about Father's will? I already decrypted that. I'll drop by the church if I feel like it. Bye.
待てリン。マスターになったのなら。
Bye. I hang up before he finishes. If I have to listen to Kirei's nagging while I'm this tired, I have a feeling my magical energy will drain away instead of recover.
さて、これで準備は終わりっと。
Alright, I should be ready. All that's left is to sleep. Once I open my eyes, it'll be a brand new day. 10 years ago, my father fought as a mage in the Holy Grail War, and lost. Now it's my turn to risk it all for the same prize. And they... They're frozen? No. Oh, he's still in the prologue. This is long. Wait, let me save. And then we'll continue. Alright. And after breakfast, I lay my plans out for the day.
何？学校に行くだと？
ええ、何か問題あるかしら、あーちゃん。
I mean, indeed, Yes, do you have a problem with that,
問
Archer?
題はないな。しかし、それは。
Archer looks reluctant, but he doesn't protest. After spending a whole day with me, he probably understands that Rin Tosaka doesn't go back on her word once she's made up her mind. I can sense his disagreement, even if he doesn't voice it. But I've also learned that Archer has a sincere side beneath all that sarcasm. He won't whine about a decision he's accepted. Yeah, he's loyal and awkward like that. That's what my intuition says, at least, after watching him yesterday.
マスターになったからには常に敵マスターを警戒しなくてはならない。学校という場は不意の襲撃に備えにくい場所だろう。
そんなことはないけどね。いいあーちゃん。私はマスターになったからって今までの生活を変える気はないわ。それにマスター同士の戦いは人目を避けるものでしょ。それなら人目につく学校にいれば不意打ちされることはまずないと思うけど。
The only summer servant I'm interested in right now is CL. And maybe BB Dubai? Loyal. Not necessarily. Listen here, Archer. I don't intend to alter my lifestyle just because of this. Besides, masters fight out of public view, don't they? I don't think anyone would try to sneak up on me in front of everyone at school.
そうか。リンがそう決めたのなら、私は従うだけだ。だが、霊体化して君の護衛
I
をす
should
るぐら
call
い
him
は
the
いいの
spirit
だろうな。
one, so I'll be fine.
まさか、学校に行っている間はここに残れ、などとは言うまい。
当たり前じゃない。学校に限らず外に出るときはそばにいてもらうからね。マスターを守るのもサーバントの役割なんだから頼りにしてるわ。
Of course not. You'll stay with me whenever I'm outside, not just at school. That's a servant's job, so I'm counting on you.
それを聞いて安心した。信頼に応えるのは騎士の務め。せいぜい期待に沿うとしよう。だがリン、もしもの話だが、その安全な場所に敵がいたとしたらどうする？
何？学校にマスターがいるかもしれないってかて？
Are we supposing that there's a master at the school?
確かに学び屋には生徒と教師以外は入りにくいが、すでに内部の者がマスターだとしたら厄介ではない。
Wait, so is tonight the day that Shiro summoned Saber?
それはないんじゃないかな。この町には魔術師の家系は遠坂とあと一つしかないの。そのあと一つっていう家系は落ちぶれてるし、マスターにもなってないし。
I don't think that's likely. The Tosakas are the only functioning mage family left in this town. The other one's gone belly up, so they won't produce any masters.
マスターになっていないとどうしてわかる？
あのね、うち以外に魔術師の家系がいるんなら真っ先に確かめるのは当然でしょ。
Hey, if there's any other mage families in Huiki besides Tosaka, you can bet I've already looked into them already.
そいつマスターにはなってなかったし、あっちの家系の後継者にはマスターになるだけの魔力がないから無視して構わないわ。
Yeah, I know Shiro summons at the last second. I'm just trying to pinpoint the days because I don't remember. It's been so long since I watched the first episode, or episode 0. He isn't a master. As the heir to that family, he can't wield the strength to become one. We can safely ignore
そう
them.
か。つまりリンの通う学校にはもう一人魔術師がいるのだな。だがマスターになれるほどの魔力を持ち合わせていないと。
そういうこと。だから他のマスターは外からやってくる連中が大半のはず。そんな連中が学校にまでやってくることはないでしょう。
That's right. Most of the other masters will be coming from the outside. He wouldn't be at my school.
まあ今の段階ではな。だがリン、何事にも例外は存在する。もし学校に君が知らない魔術師がいたとしたらどう？
だからいないってば。魔術師っていうのは他の同業に敏感なの。1年も同じ学校にいたらね、どんなに隠してても魔術師の存在は感じ取れる。
I'm telling you, that won't happen. Mages are sensitive to each other. I've spent a whole year at the campus, so I was able to sense any magic no matter how hard they try to hide.
断言するけど、うちの学校に魔術師は2人しかいないわ。そのうちの1人が私で、もう1人はマスターになるだけの力がない魔術師見習いなの。
I'm certain that there are only 2 mages at school. Me and that probie without enough power to be a
分
master.
かった？アーチャーの用心はただの杞憂よ。そんなこと絶対にありえないんだから。
Get it now? You're just being paranoid. The scenario you're imagining won't happen.
だからもしもの話だ。物事には常に裏目が存在する。
Oh yeah, that's right. Kirei did say she had 2 days left.
本来ありえざることが起こるのもまた運命だ。もしそういった事態になった場合、私に八つ当たりをするのだけは思いとどまってほしいと言っているのだ。
Archer chuckles dryly. His smug attitude already makes me want to do exactly that. but I'll be late for school if I let him keep pushing my buttons.
そんなことあるわけないじゃない。もしもの話っていうのは起きないからもしもの話なんだよ。もしそんなことになったら、その時は私の見通しが甘かったってだけなんだから。
Look, it won't happen. It's a what if, because it would never happen in the first place. And if it does, it would just mean that I was too naive.
よし、確かに聞いたぞ。それでは行こうか、リン。
Off to school, off to school.
君の学び屋まで30分。そろそろ出なければ間に合わない時間帯だ。
Off to school.
驚いた。もしもの話って本当にあるのね。
I am legitimately shocked it really didn't happen.
私も驚いている。いや、何事もケチをつけておくものだな。思わぬところで役に立った。
This is our exchange the moment we pass through the front gate. It's almost time for homeroom, so there are students on their way to class, all around us. Archer and I stand like a pillar amid the swirling human sea.
空気がよどんでるどころの話じゃない。これ、もう結界が張られてない。
The air isn't just stagnant. Someone set up a bounded field, don't you
完
think?
全にではないが、すでに準備は始まっているようだな。ここまで派手にやっているということは、よほどの大物か。
とんでもない素人ね。異常を感じさせる結界なんて三流だもの。やるんなら仕掛ける時まで隠し通しておくのが一流よ。
More an unbelievable amateur. Only a third-rate mage would make such a conspicuous field. Someone with actual skills would conceal it until it was time to strike.
君はどちらだと思う、リン。
さあ、一流だろうが三流だろうが知ったことじゃないわ。
Who knows? I couldn't care less.
私のテリトリーでこんなゲスなもの仕掛けたやつなんて問答無用でぶっ倒すだけよ。
More importantly, trying such shoddy work in my territory is just gonna earn them a beating. I let out an indignant huff as I crossed through the grounds. As a mage, there's no sugarcoating it. I won't be satisfied until whoever made this bounded field gets what's coming to them. I'm on my way back from the music room after our second period. I spot a first year floundering in the hallway. She looks like she could use a hand with the large stack of documents she's
手
carrying.
伝うわ、さくら。
Let me help Sakura.
遠坂先輩。何、プリント？世界史って言ったらうちの担任じゃない。クズキのやつ、女生徒に使いをさせるなんて何考えてんだか。ほら、半分貸して。
Printouts? Our class is supposed to be taking care of world history. What is that Kuzuki thinking, making you carry all these? Here, I'll take half.
はい、ありがとうございます、先輩。いいっていいって。それじゃあこれ、さくらのクラスまで？
It's fine. Are we taking these to your classroom?
くずき先生のところです。
Oh,
こっちが
there's a
回
typo?
収するって言ってました。
That's a lot of typo
納
copies.
得。くずきは融通きかないからね。一つ誤字があったぐらいで試験を中止させるやつだった。試験って学校の試験をですか？そう、あれは去年の中間試験だったかな。みんながガーッとマークシートを塗りつぶしてる時にやってきてね。誤字があるので正しい問題ではなかった。よって試験は中止。後日改めて行うってあの調子で淡々と言ったのよ。私たちも驚いたけど先生方も驚いてね。今でもあれは語り草よ。
Yeah, it was during midterms last year. It was near the end of when everyone's answer sheets were already filled. Just came out and said there's a typo, the questions are incorrect, the exam is suspended, and we'll redo it tomorrow. The teachers were surprised as we were, and people still talk about it.
なんかくずき先生らしいですね。それ先生、ものを教える立場に間違いは許されないって人ですから。
And I think Sakura doesn't hold a grudge during like what was it, during Heaven's Field, like they're like, oh, can I call you sister, and like they're making food together and stuff. So Sakura doesn't mad at her for it.
クズキのは度が過ぎ
Well,
てるけ
in
どね。
Heaven's Field anyway, they're
さく
kind
らも
of
そ
like
のうち思い知るわよ。クズキの堅物ぶりったら岩か山かって感じなんだから。
But he goes overboard. You better learn while you can that once Kazuki's got his mind set on something, he's hard to move as a mountain.
遠坂先輩、クズキ先生のことが好きなんですね。先輩がそんな風に言うなんて珍しいです。そう？まあ確かにクズキはもうちょっと柔軟性があればなって思うけど。
Is it? I do wish he'd just relax. Though he's alright the way he is ultimately. The faculty at our school is made up of both really nice teachers and some really scary ones. It's a delicate balance that Mr. Kuzuki is an important part of, is to stick to the carrot.
まあ2年になればもっとクズキと顔を合わせるようになるわ。あいつは倫理も受け持ってるし。そんなことよりさくら、ちょっと聞きたいことがあるんだけど、いい？
Alright, Sakura, there's something I wanted to ask you.
何ですか？昨日の話なんだけど、さくら、見かけない外国人と話してなかった？
It's about yesterday. Were you talking to a foreigner?
言ってたんですか、先輩。たまたま。それであれ何だったの？知り合い？
I just happened to. What's going on? Is he someone you know?
いいえ、それがよくわからない人だったんです。あの人、道に迷ってたみたいでした。いろいろ聞いてくるんだけど、何を言ってるのか聞き取れなくて、
And that's when she slipped away.
そっか。ごめんなさい。少しだけ気になったから。
I see. Sorry, I was just curious.
いいえ、構いません。ここまででいいです、先輩。あとは届けるだけですから。そう？それじゃあまたね。
Okay, see you later then. Bye, Sakura. I returned the printouts to Sakura, but before I head back to my classroom, I find myself
さ
stopping.
くら、最近はどう？
How are you lately, Sakura?
はい、大丈夫。元気です、私。そう。シンジがまた何かやったら言いなさい。あいつはどってものを知らないから。黙っていると悪化する一方よ。
I see. Let me know if Shinji is up to something. He doesn't know when to quit, so it'll just get worse if you keep quiet.
心配いりませんよ、先輩。兄さん、この頃は優しいんですから。
There isn't much I can say to a smile like that. We say our farewells again and I leave my underclassman acquaintance. The school day is over. The classroom steadily empty and the campus darkens by the hour. The crimson sun will set soon. Once night falls, there won't be anyone left around.
始めるわよ、あーちゃん。まずは結界の下調べ。どんな結界かを調べてから、消すか残すか決めましょう。
Let's begin, Archer. First, we'll investigate the bounded field. Once we determine what type it is, we'll decide whether to erase it or leave it. I speak to my invisible partner. I feel him nod in acknowledgement. Bounded fields are meant to protect their casters. You can consider them a terrain-based magecraft born by weaving magical energy into a net and applying it to the earth to affect the inside of the field. There are countless types of effects they can have, ranging from wards that isolate an area from the outside world to avoid detection, to fields that limit the type of magecraft that can be activated within. The most offensive type suppresses biological functions inside the area of effect. And that's what's been applied to the school grounds. While it isn't finished, everyone in the school will collapse once it's activated. Something like that wouldn't work on me, though. Bounded fields are, after all, targeted in the area I'm in, not me specifically. Such indirect magical interference wouldn't affect a mage with magical energy flowing through her body. Similarly, the electrical charges that flow in the atmosphere won't disturb the electrical currents within my body. That means the bounded field has some other purpose. Whoever it is that put this thing here isn't trying to defeat a master with it. I don't want to believe it, but they're targeting all the people within the school. There's only one possible reason for that. It's a thought I can't stomach. After checking all around campus, I finished my search on the roof. It's thoroughly dark outside now. The school gates shut at 6 p.m. and it's now 8 o'clock p.m. Archer and I are the only ones left, and Archer's in his spirit form.
これで7つ目か。とりあえずここが起点みたいね。
That makes the 7th one. Looks like this is the origin point. There are 8 symbols boldly drawn on the rooftop. There are purplish red marks that only a mage can see. I've never seen or heard of sigils like these.
参ったな。これ私の手には負えない。
Well, they've got me there. I don't know what to do about this. Whoever set up this bounded field did it recklessly. But while imprudent, the magical working itself is an order of magnitude beyond my own skills. I could temporarily erase the energy of the curse, but I've no way to dispel the bounded field itself. All the spellcaster needs to do is supply it with more energy to reactivate the curse's effects. Archer doesn't comment. He's probably remained silent, since encountering the rooftop sigils because he too has realized their nature. This bounded field does more than drain a victim's stamina. It will literally melt everyone inside once it's turned on. There are bounded fields which rob victims of their life force and spiritual energy, but the spell that's been applied to the school grounds is on a whole different level. This is no less than a soul eater, a blood fort which melts the human bodies inside it and forcefully collects the souls that ooze out. Since antiquity, souls have always been difficult to handle. They're theorized to exist and are considered to be necessary components of magecraft, but only one mage has ever proven their existence. Our definitions of souls stop at that which examines within, and that which is transferred between vessels. To not only extract souls but then capture them in one place, it defies comprehension. What's a mage supposed to do with a bunch of energy we can't even convert? So if I had to think of a purpose for it...
あーちゃん、あなたたちってそういうもの？
Archer, is this what you and your kind are? It comes out colder than I
ご推
intended.
察の通りだ。我々は基本的に霊体だと言っただろう。故に食事は第2ないし第3要素となる。君たちが肉を栄養とするように、サーバントは精神と魂を栄養とする。栄養を取ったところで基本的な能力は変わらないが、
Holy cow, the
取
wind
り
is
入れ
really
れば
loud
取り入れる
here.
ほどタフになる。つまり魔力の貯蔵量が上がっていくというわけだ。
He's right. The way to make your own servant stronger is to indiscriminately attack human
マ
beings.
スターから提供される魔力だけじゃ足りないってこと？
So your own master's magical energy
足
isn't
りなくは
enough?
ないが大いに越したことはない。実力が劣る場合、弱点を武士で補うのが戦争だろう。周囲の人間からエネルギーを奪うのはマスターとしては基本的な戦略だ。
They
そうい
can
った意
grant
味で言え
cheer
ば
and ensure
この結界は
Brett's
効率
everything
がい
is
い。
good. Archer's saying that I should murder people and take their power if I want to win. It's so simple. I've always known this to be true. And I know it's the path I'm supposed to walk.
それ勘に触るわ。二度と口にしないで、あーちゃん。
That really teased me off. Don't ever bring it up again, Archer. Staring at the sigils, I make my stance clear. Oddly, Archer sounds just as
同
put
感
out.
だ。私も真似をするつもりはない。
His answer comes firm and resolute.
それじゃ消そうか。無駄だろうけど、とりあえず邪魔をするぐらいにはなる。
Time to erase this then. It won't do much good, but I can at least slow it down. I approach the sigil and extend my left hand. The magic crest engraved in my arm is like a grimoire passed down through the Tosaka line. A mental switch is flicked. I pass magical energy through the crest, load a verse of bounded field erasure, take a deep breath and activate it. I then send a pulse of magical energy via my left hand. I should wash away the signal for now.
なんだよ、消しちまうのか？
Oh, that
もっ
should.
たいね
Lancer! Lancer, cool! Suddenly, a third voice chimes in while I'm casting the spell. I whirl around. Hello, sir. Hello. A man is perched on top of the water tower, just 10 meters above, looking down at me. He's clad in a deep blue that blends into the night. His mouth is drawn into a grin and he has a bestial air about him. Oh, bestial air about him. The beast's gaze is sharp and clear. So is it bestial or is it beast? In this bizarre situation, the man in blue watches me as if he's greeting a friend he hasn't seen in a
これ
decade.
あなたの仕業。
Did you do this?
いや、小細工を浪するのは魔術師の役割だ。俺たちはただ命じられたまま戦うのみ。だろ？そこの兄さんよ。
His tone is lethal yet carefree. This man can see
や
Archer.
っぱりサーバント。
You're a servant.
そうとも。で、それがわかるお嬢ちゃんは俺の敵ってことでいいのかな？
My spine tenses. The man's voice is detached and nonchalant, but it's colder than anyone I've heard. So scary, it's nauseating. What's the best move here? I don't know. But my brain is still working enough to tell me that I absolutely must not fight him.
ほう、大したもんだ。何もわからねえようで要点は抑えてやがる。ああ、失敗したなこりゃ。面白がって声をかけるんじゃなかったぜ。
The man raises an arm. It appears in a flash. His once empty hand now holds a scarlet 2-meter-long weapon. My legs throw me to the side before I can think. There isn't time to even hesitate about jumping off the roof. With my might, I make a mad dash for the fence, intending to barrel right through it. A cyclone lifts my hair into the air. It was by the skin of my teeth. In that instant, something slices through the space I was just in, tearing the fence apart with it.
いい足してるな、お嬢ちゃん。
A blue whirlwind pursues me. There's no way out. The fence is behind me. My flanks are cut off. I won't make it. I react swiftly. My magic crest surges to life so I can weave a single count magecraft. The spell lightens mass and manipulates gravity. Light as a feather, my body bounds into the air.
分かってる。任せて。
I know, I got this. And I jump over the fence to plummet off the roof. Air resistance and gravity push and pull along my body. It's about 50 meters to the ground, 1.7 seconds away. Too slow, he's going to catch up to me.
ゴッドエスアドレス。あーちゃん、着地任せた。
Archer, handle the landing. I let Archer absorb the shock of the landing and break into a dash as soon as we touch down. I can't stay on that rooftop. We need a less cramped area from which to maneuver freely. A battlefield with obstacles, where Archer and I can truly shine. It takes me less than 7 seconds to escape from the roof to the schoolyard. A distance over 100 meters crossed at a pace no normal person can manage, much less see. And yet...
いや、本気でいい足だ。ここで仕留めるのはいささかもったいなさすぎるか。
I against a servant, it's wasted effort. Archer! At the same time I draw back, Archer materializes before me. It's a cloudy night. Archer's hand grips a short sword that faintly reflects the moonlight. The man's lips twist into an ominous sneer.
いいね。そう来なくっちゃ。話が早いやつは嫌いじゃない。
The whirlwind howls. It's the weapon he swung at me at the rooftop. A spear of blood-like crimson that came mercilessly for my head.
ランサーのサーバント。
A lancer.
いかにも。そういうあんたのサーバントはセイバー。
He thinks.
って感じじゃねえな。何者だ、てめえ。
Gone is his carefree ease from a moment ago. Archer stays silent, facing against Lancer's unconcealed bloodlust. There's just under 5 meters between them. Lancer's weapon is nearly 2 meters long. It doesn't feel like this beast of a man is going to be deterred by a mere 3-meter difference.
まっとうな一騎打ちをするタイプじゃねえな、てめえは。ってことは、アーチャーか。
Archer doesn't take the bait. An unusual flash of blue and red stare each other down. Two knights similarly dressed mutually calculate each other's
いい
demise.
ぜ。好みじゃねえが、出会ったからにはやるだけだ。そら、獲物を出せよ、アーチャー。これでも礼はわきまえているからな。それぐらいは待ってやる。
Archer doesn't answer. His back, as steely as a sword, seems to convey that he must not have anything to say to someone he must defeat. That's when I realize it. I'm such a fool. Archer was waiting for my word. Archer? I call out to him without getting any closer.
あなたの力、ここで見せて。
Don't hold back. Show me everything you've got. Was that a laugh? The Red Knight surges forward, his lips curled in response. Wind swirls. A scarlet bullet flies forward, blade in hand. A blue spear thrust intercepts him. If the charging archer is a gust of wind, then the spear tip that rises to meet him is a divine storm. Streaking blades, elegant parries. Archer is put on the defensive, fending off a swift thrust with his short sword. The man in red stopped in his tracks, his advance denied by the enemy. He can't even breach the 2-meter coverage of his spear. The polearm wielder can control his opponent's range. Lancer, with his nearly 2-meter reach, needs to simply engage his foe whenever he comes within range. It's easier for him to stab at an advancing opponent than it is for him to go after Archer himself. Despite this, Lancer closes the distance himself to press the attack, all while keeping Archer from advancing further.
旧兵風情が接近戦を挑んだな。
Lancer's snarl is fiery. With each thrust, Lancer closes in, the assault never letting up for a second. Moving in too close is suicide for a spear wielder. The advantage of a spear is the ability to control the enemy's position. Lancer shouldn't have a chance if he keeps closing in. No way. Well, that's only according to conventional wisdom. Unerringly, unceasingly, Lancer's spear seeks to pierce Archer's throat, shoulder, forehead, and heart. The strikes are too swift to even leave an after-image. Archer is forced to parry, block, or evade every move of his spear. Any strike, if true, would be a mortal blow. Still, Archer is a servant, even if he specializes with the bow. He wouldn't be brought down so easily by mundane attacks. The thrust at his forehead is quickly batted aside, and Archer renews his charge in spite of Lancer's spear. One might think that swordplay is all there is to Archer's attacks, but he's exploiting a weakness of spear tactics. Against the spear's considerable reach, neither retreat nor evasion are viable defenses for long. Ah, thank you so much. Yes, I am enjoying this story. A half-hearted withdrawal isn't enough to get out of range, while probing attacks will lead to evisceration. A reckless charge will similarly end in impalement at the edge of the spear's range. Archer and Lancer are more than Archer and Lancer have more or less the same physical stature. Without heavy armor, it is difficult for Archer to penetrate the lethal storm of Lancer's attack radius. But Lancer's strikes are a different story. The high-speed thrusts intended to pierce vital points are indeed terrifying. But each strike has set a trajectory and target. If one can pierce these, then there are ways to avoid harm. Just as Archer is doing, one can block the strikes aimed at the vital points, or just barely evade their arcs to create safe openings. Lancer probably underestimated him as a range specialist. The advantage of a long weapon is the generous range at which one can engage the opponent. By giving that up, Lancer has assured his The man in red stops in his tracks. I watch as a nightmare unfolds as if time has rewinded. Lancer's attacks become even faster than before. Archer's short sword is knocked aside as he twists to avoid being skewered. Lancer's spear doesn't allow retreat. Or rather, this endless attacks are so fierce and sharp that even servants are doomed against them. We were the ones who underestimated our enemy. That servant, that Lancer and his spear can't be described in mundane martial terms. Who could possibly survive such a relentless barrage? Archer beats a desperate retreat while parrying strikes, creating slightly more distance between the fighters. In that moment, Lancer steps into the gap and unleashes an even more ferocious attack. The storm of attacks is a little different from what he's been doing, but their execution is truly godlike. They've already clashed 10 times. No, it's actually several more times than that. The torrent of spear strikes increases again in intensity and number, threatening to take Archer's life 1,000 times over. It isn't even a change in speed, but precision. At a steady pace, Lancer's spear comes down on Archer like a waterfall. How can Archer get inside his guard? With such a short weapon, all he can do is defend against the spear. He has no way to close in on Lancer. In fact, he's being forced backwards. The steel vacuum stretches out. I should be backing Archer up, but the right words die in my throat. My magecraft isn't easy to aim precisely. I risk hitting Archer too. He can't get far away enough from Lancer. Meanwhile, Lancer's advantage will only deepen. And to be honest, I'm captivated by their duel. So this is a battle between servants. The Holy Grail War is a battle between familiars of the highest order, heroic spirits, beings that we mages can't even begin to approach. Servants. Familiars divided among 7 classes and roles, serving 7 masters. Supreme Familiars called forth by the Holy Grail itself. Familiar really is a misnomer for them. Familiars are supposed to be subservient minions who act on behalf of a mage. Normally you'd imagine something like Puss in Boots, an elegant white bird, or a disobedient black dog, something like that. Those sort of familiars are what typical mages can manage to command. Familiars are just that. In the Latin for menial servant. It's inconceivable for a mascot used for menial labor to be stronger than its master. Servants are a different story. They're quite literally the most powerful examples of humanity. Even the 5 magicians wouldn't be able to control them. It's difficult to summon a servant, but not because servants are more powerful than mages. Servants are beings that surpass magecraft itself. Oh, we get to see the cards! To be clear, servants are heroes of the past. Myths, legends, fables, histories. You can call glorious superhumans from our traditions heroes, whether the tales are true or not. Immortalized by what humanity says about them, they cease to be merely human after death and ascend to something greater. People who work miracles, who save multitudes, who accomplish great feats, are elevated to the status of heroes, either in life or death, or after death. They become the type of elemental we call heroic spirits, guardians of the human race. It doesn't matter whether they were historical people or characters from mythology. Heroes are created by the thoughts of the people. We imagine them as idols we wish they were and treat them as if they were real. Objective truth is irrelevant. Fame and faith are sufficient to give form to these legends. They're humanity's ultimate ideals, the greatest among us. That's what it means to be a hero in a heroic spirit. Naturally, it's impossible for a mere human to control something greater than human. What mages usually do is borrow a portion of their power and imitate their feats. Summoning a complete heroic spirit is simply impossible. Yet, the Holy Grail makes it possible. It allows us to summon these spirits in the flesh and even bind them to our command. The sheer absurdity of it proves the Grail's omnipotence. That's how heroic spirits are summoned from across time, whether from the Age of Gods or as recent as a century ago. The 7 heroic spirits serve and protect their 7 masters, and each master sends their servants out to defeat enemy masters. It's a death match between heroes of every age and every land. That's the story behind the ritual we call the Holy Grail War. Of course, there are limits to what the Grail can do. Even the Holy Grail can't indiscriminately summon mythic beings akin to elementals. Yep. Just a form created by people is required to materialize the 6th theoretical factor known as demons. Heroic spirits need a material form to operate in this world. This is their temporary label, and the way they're allowed to exist in this world. The Holy Grail provides vessels that heroic spirits can easily materialize in, called classes, and only heroic spirits that fit these classes can be summoned. A class is like a passport that lets a heroic spirit visit the modern era to act as a familiar. It's a material vessel that they temporarily possess. There are 7 masters and 7 heroic spirits to serve them. Each is assigned one of 7 classes. Saber, the Knight of the Sword. Lancer, the Knight of the Spear. Archer, the Knight of the Bow. Rider, the Cavalier. Caster, the Mage. Assassin, the Silent Killer. Berserker, the Mad Warrior. Only heroic spirits with attributes corresponding to the 7 classes can be summoned to the modern world, and they become servants whom the masters command. That is the servant system. Humans summon and make contracts with heroic spirits beyond our ability to handle all hopes of winning a miracle. All in hopes of winning a miracle beyond our ken. It's the greatest battles that can only happen in this land, like no other Holy Grail War. I don't remember if Rin explains this during the episode 0. I don't think she does. The duel reaches an even higher pitch. The short sword goes flying from Archer's hand after blocking one of Lancer's strikes. Lancer's skill is consummate. A seemingly straight thrust suddenly whipped in a disarming arc at Archer's wrist. Oh, Curie's the one? Okay. I don't. Oh yeah, they go to the church and stuff. And like Saber has the hood over her and stuff. And they like try to at nighttime. Definitely doesn't. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so it must have been like it was nighttime, Saber has that cloak and they go into the church at nighttime and then they meet Berserker afterward. It was an attack that Archer couldn't have avoided even if he saw it coming. There isn't an effective way to parry a spear with a sword. A forceful block is countered with an even keener strike, while defending with minimal force that will never create an opening to exploit. The clash between sword and spear is shaping up to be an intense struggle to defeat an enemy outside of Archer's reach. There's no hesitation in Lancer even as he taunts Archer. He palms from the constant pressure he puts on Archer. Does he intend to settle the duel in an instant? Lancer takes a firmly rooted stance, trading a fiery glare with a now unarmed Archer. Okay. So it's Curie. Well, I guess Curie is useful for things. It happened in an instant. In the span of a breath, Lancer loses a flurry of blades that's no less than a flash of light. Imperceptible. Forehead, neck, and heart. The spear moves to skewer all 3. And yet... another flash of light counters the first that I couldn't even follow. Archer's hand grasps at the short sword once more. Like the weapon he used earlier, it's a Chinese sword not dissimilar to a cleaver. But the greatest difference between them is... blade and blade. In each hand he grips a sword, each clearly meant to complement each other. Lancer's spear sings through the air. Becomes even faster as if to herald Archer's certain death. The duel becomes a symphony of clashing blades. Two steel instruments play a resounding chorus, and the sparks of their conflict rising to a never-ending crescendo. Their battle is like a vacuum. It sucks all the air around it, making me feel like I'll be cut even if I dare to approach. It all happens in an instant, really. But as I watched the fate of death, the moments started to stretch on. Lancer keeps his foe out of his fatal pocket, while Archer attempts to close the gap with his shield of dual swords. They've clashed over 100 times already. Archer is losing a weapon each time, but instantly another sword appears in Archer's empty hand, and Lancer is slightly driven back each time. Lancer finally acknowledges his miscalculation. He has no idea who he's fighting. But it would be a mistake to keep dismissing his opponent as a bowman. The Archer's not using a bow. A space opens up between them. Lancer puts significant distance between them. Maybe he intends to start over. That agility isn't normal. Archer's charge defies human ability, but he's sluggish next to Lancer. The swiftness of Lancer's retreat had the speed and grace of a leopard.
27. それだけ弾き飛ばしてもまだあるとはな。
He has lots of swords, Lancer. Lancer sounds irritated. Actually, he sounds more confused than upset. I feel the same way. According to my father, servants typically only have one weapon. They're supposed to be a singular relic of unimaginable power, not expendable items to be drawn over and over like Archer's doing. Servants are heroes whose spiritual rank are elevated to the magnitude of elementals or divine spirits after death. In a way, they're not unlike angels or demons. They are powerful familiars on their own, but their greatest strength is the mighty weapons that prove their heroes. We call these magic items. We call these magic items noble phantasms. They are the favorite weapon or armor of a servant used while it was a living hero, and it's literally the servant's secret weapon. To a servant, a noble phantasm is a one-of-a-kind armament. It's the servant's indispensable ultimate weapon as well. The same goes for Lancer's spear. It can exhibit its power as a noble phantasm if he so chooses. Noble phantasm is a formidable weapon on its own, but its true power is expressed by invoking its true name. Heroes' weapons are known to have slain dragons and gods, to have conquered the earth. Servants activated noble phantasms with their own magical energy. It's not like magecraft actually. Servants use their noble phantasms as catalysts to recreate the destruction from their legends. Noble phantasm is most certainly not a disposable tool. Archer has produced dozens of swords by now. Each seems like a masterwork unto itself, but they surely can't be his noble phantasm. He is an archer after all. The secret weapon must be some kind of bow.
どうしたランサー様子見とは君らしくないな先ほどの勢いはどこに行った
I mean, I understand being confused, because like, he's an archer using lots and lots of swords.
タヌキ減らず口を叩きやがるか
We're not baiting you! The cause of Lancer's irritation is obvious. Lancer has been fighting as a spearman while Archer has been fending him off as a swordsman, meaning that Archer hasn't revealed his cards yet. This must be frustrating to deal with.
いいぜ聞いてやるよてめえどこの英雄だ
I don't remember how he answers here.
二頭使いの旧兵なぞ聞いたことがない
そういう君は分かりやすいな僧兵には最速の英雄が選ばれるというが
Alright, he does know who he is
君は
right
その
away.
中でもえりすぐりだ これほどの宗師は世界に3人といまい。加えて獣のごとき敏捷さといえばおそらく1人。
ほう、よく言ったアーチャー。
His name is Ku. For a moment, the bloodlust is so strong I forget to breathe. Lancer's arms move. It is a deliberate stance without any nonchalance that he's shown so far. His spear tip dips as if to puncture the ground, but Lancer's eyes bore straight through
なら
Archer.
ば食らうか。我が必殺の一撃を。
It's true. Yeah, most Fate Archers don't use bows.
止めはしない。いずれ越えねばならぬ敵だ。
Lancer lowers his stance. Simultaneously, a thorny, bitter cold overtakes the schoolyard. Air freezes. I don't mean that metaphorically. It's literally ice cold. All of the mana in the atmosphere freezes solid. Only the warrior Lancer is allowed to breathe in this space. The spear in Lancer's hands are undoubtedly magical. Its true form eager to burst forth. Oh no. I'm gonna die. I don't know what kind of noble phantasm he is. That is, but Archer's finished. It's the first time I had seen this kind of premonition, and hard as it is to believe, I don't doubt it for a second. If Lancer unleashes his spear, Archer will die. It's absolutely certain. As Lancer says, his spear means death. And this is when they see Shiro through the window, right? Or Shiro sees them through the window. Archer will lose. Lancer will stab him through the heart and he'll die. Despite that, despite these premonitions, despite this insight, I can't even help Archer. I feel like if I so much as lift a finger, it'll signal the beginning of the end. If there's any way to prevent Archer's defeat, then it could only be
誰だ。
the sudden appearance of a third party whom we all overlooked. Huh? Lance's furiosity disappears. I hear the sound of someone running away. From behind, I can clearly make out a school uniform.
生徒まだ学校に残ってたの？
A student? Someone was still on campus?
そのようだな。おかげで命拾いしたが。
Archer answers coolly. Sure enough, the interruption did save our skin.
した。ランサーに気を取られて周りの気配に気づかなかった。で、アーチャー、あんた何してんの？
I screwed up. I was so distracted by Lancer wasn't keeping an eye on our surroundings. Wait, what are you doing, Archer?
見てわからないか。手が空いたから休んでいる。
んなわけないでしょ。ランサーはどうしたのよ。
That's not what I mean. What about Lancer?
さっきの人影を追ったよ。目撃者だからな。おそらく消しに行ったのだろう。
For a moment, my thoughts grind to a halt.
追ってアーチャー。私もすぐに追いつくから。
After them, Archer. I'll catch up. Archer pursues Lancer immediately.
なんて間抜け。
I curse my own negligence. It's standard mage policy to eliminate witnesses. Until now, I've been careful not to allow anyone to see me as a mage, to avoid that scenario. But why did it happen today of all days? The night feels oppressive, not letting even moonlight through. I find Archer standing over the body of a student, collapsed on the floor of a terribly cold hallway. He looks wordlessly down at the student. An odor reaches my nose. The sight of slowly pooling blood makes me realize that it's the smell of
追っ
death.
てアーチャー。ランサーはマスターのところに戻るはず。せめて相手の顔ぐらい把握しないと割が合わない。
Follow him, Archer. Lancer should be running back to his master. If we can catch at least a sight of their face, then tonight isn't a total loss. Archer goes after Lancer. Only the fallen student and I remain on the corridor. I can't look him in the eye, but I have to. This is my fault. This is my fault. This is my fault. Since I was young, since I made up the mind to inherit the Tosaka legacy, I've been prepared for this. Majors aren't covered by good or evil. I've known all along that this path would be a bloody one.
ランサーの槍で一突きか。心臓やられてちゃ助からない。
A single thrust from Lancer's spear. If he got you in the heart, there's no saving you. I don't know how many seconds ago Lancer killed him. It's just a matter of whether he was unlucky enough to get stabbed through the heart. Blood loss isn't as bad as I expected for a destroyed heart, so maybe the injury isn't too deep. It might not be bad, but he's still screwed if the blood has been cut off to his brain. Though yeah, if his heart is wrecked, he would have died instantly.
その割にはまだ死んでないってのはすごいな。
Still not dead? He really something. It's hard to hear, but just barely. My ears paint up faint breathing that might be a death rattle. But it won't last more than a few seconds. I don't have the power to save him. I don't even have the way to heal my own wounds.
顔を見ないと。それぐらいはしなくちゃ。
I have to look him in the eye at least. I start to reach for the face of the prone figure when I realize that my fingers won't move. They're shaking. But why? I'm used to this. I've made this choice countless times. I've lost so much thanks to my own mistakes, my own selfishness. That's why I've been ready for this day to come. Then why am I so angry at myself?
見とるぐらいはしてあげる。
I'm sorry. I'll keep you company. You deserve at least that. I use cold logic to still my trembling fingers and legs and check the fallen student's face. A great weight falls onto me. I feel like I've just been struck by a
やめて
hammer.
よね。なんだってあんたが。
Don't do this to me. Why did it have to be you? I grind my teeth. I no longer brace myself against the shaking, but because I'm truly angry. Why did it have to be him? Why him especially? I'm not upset with Lancer for silencing a witness, as a servant should. But at school today of all days, at this hour, you fool! Why would you, of all people? Sakura's face comes to mind. I'm sure she'll cry, and I find myself recalling a day after school some years ago. A sky glowed in distant red. A boy that always ran, and a silly little girl watched him absently from afar. The boy who got involved in something he shouldn't have, and now his corpse is in front of me. There's still a way. If I fail, I might lose my trump card. But there's a way to save him. No. I'll lose it whether this works or not, so the outcome is the same to me. This is a mistake. His impending death is a foregone conclusion. It's my fault for not paying enough attention to what had happened around me, and his fault for having the dumb luck to be here tonight. There's no need for me to go this far for him. My father, who left me with nothing to remember him by, did in fact leave me this heirloom to help me. It's a massive store of magical energy meant to be a trump card that helps me win this war. A precious treasure, just for...
だからなんだってのよ、バカ。
So what, stupid? I turn my back and kneel by the dying boy. Oh, what's that? The pendant in my hand gets lighter. My father's keepsake is nearly empty. With a clink, I drop it onto the guy who was a second away from becoming a corpse.
まあ、仕方ないか。
Nothing else I could have done. There was really no other way. I don't have the power or skill to bring someone back to life. Especially not someone with a destroyed heart, damaged blood vessels, and brain death mere seconds away. All I can do is patch up the missing parts with brute force.
まだ息があるのが運の尽きだった。完全に死んでいたら、どんなに魔力の蓄えがあっても蘇生なんてできなかったし。
You're lucky to be still breathing. If you were totally dead, then there would have been no bringing you back with any amount of magical energy. But if he's still alive, then I just need to help him the best I can.
失敗してたら目も当てられなかったけど、成功したからいいか。ええ、正直に言えば充実感あるしね。こういう経験も悪くはなかったわ。
I would have really hated myself if I failed, but it worked out, I guess. Yeah, I feel fulfilled if I'm being honest. This wasn't such a bad experience. Though really, I'm lying to
行こ
myself.
う。済んだことは済んだこと。こいつが目を覚ます前に帰らないと。
I should go. I did what I came to do. Better get out of here before he wakes up. Yeah, there isn't any point hanging around. Archer's off tailing lancers, so I should just go home. On the way home, I remember I left my father's memento at school, though now it's just a pendant with all of its magical energy wrung dry.
いっか。
Oh well. I don't suppose I need it anymore. It might have a little bit of energy left in it, but it's less than 10 gemstones I'm carrying. What Father wanted was for me to have enough magical energy to win the Holy Grail War. Now that I've used that resource up, its container doesn't mean much. I arrive home without announcing my return and plop down on the sofa. Archer still isn't back yet. I heave a tired sigh and listen to the clock tick for a few minutes.
いい加減頭を切り替えなくちゃ。
I need to get my head in the game.
あれだけの戦いを経験しておいて、何ほうけてるんだ私。
After a battle like that, what am I even spacing out for? I jump to my feet and make some black tea. I have plenty to think about. The servant we encountered most of all. I finally watched a battle between servants, which until today I'd only known about through books.
ランサーか。宝具を使われそうになった時は焦ったけど、実際使ってたら正体は分かったのよね。
Lancer, huh? I panicked when he seemed to use his noble phantasm, but at least it would have let us learn who he is. Learning a servant's identity is key to defeating a servant. With the exception of the idiot who doesn't know his own name, a servant's greatest weakness is their identity. Once you learn a servant's name and identity, then you can mostly deduce that heroic spirit's noble phantasm. It goes without saying that since servants are heroic spirits, they have legends associated with them. Unraveling their history can reveal a lot about their abilities. Masters address servants by their class names to hide their true names. The more famous a hero, the more likely their weapon and weaknesses are to be known. The heroic spirit who has become a servant will never willingly divulge their identity. That knowledge is reserved only for their master. There's a tactic understanding that a master conceals their own servant's identity while trying to figure out the identities of the other servants. Including this one, there have been 5 Holy Grail Wars thus far. Each servant's quality depends on the caliber of the summoned heroic spirit. Naturally, a famous hero, or one with a legendary weapon, is powerful. Accordingly, it's difficult to summon such heroic spirits. For that, a summoner needs a connection to the heroic spirit they're summoning, such as a weapon the hero wielded during their lifetime. Even the Mages Association, with all its resources, only has a few such items in its possession. That's why most mages, myself included, summon a heroic spirit whom we have affinity with. The servant's strength is determined by the caliber of the heroic spirit, or so the logic goes. But reality isn't so clear-cut. Even a superior heroic spirit might struggle when the classes in play aren't favorable. Class-specific abilities have a large impact on the outcome of a battle. Each of the 7 classes come with additional abilities, and the interaction between these can allow one to triumph over a stronger opponent. To continue the example, it's said that great heroes were defeated by lesser-known heroes in each of their previous 4 wars. As far as I know, the best servant class is Saber. Saber fought until the very end in each of their last 4 wars. Saber, Lancer, and Archer are said to have powerful magic resistance. Magecraft isn't effective against these 3 classes. After all, they're warriors from ages of myth and legend where magic was still prevalent. Spells cast by modern mages would probably fizzle out on contact. That's why the first 3 classes are generally the most desirable. The other class to watch out for is Berserker. Heroic spirits summoned to this class lose their sanity. As the name suggests, they become crazed warriors and puppets for their masters, but are strengthened beyond the powers they had in life. It is also worth noting that the stronger the Berserker is, the greater it is a burden on their master. In the past, masters who drew Berserkers couldn't control their servants, and ultimately self-destructed due to running out of magical energy. No exceptions. In the vast majority of cases, Holy Grail wars were won by the summoned servant's abilities. Of course, there are plenty of other ways for masters to win battles, but it basically comes down to fighting between servants. That's why a master needs to commit the utmost diligence and effort to summoning a servant. Archer home yet? Discontented, I decided to come up with projections for battles to come. Before long, it's 11 o'clock p.m. Yes, I fixed the clocks already. Archer comes
お
home.
かえりなさい。成果はどう？
Welcome back. How'd it go?
すまない。失敗した。よほど用心深いマスターだったのだろう。少なくとも、こちら側の町にはランサーのマスターはいなかった。
Figures. Lancer was all alone and his master didn't seem like the type to show themselves.
そう。まあ、簡単にはいかないわよね。
I see. Well, I knew it wouldn't be that easy. Everything can't go according to plan. So there's no use worrying over it. I'll just give up and treat tonight as a learning experience.
覇気がないな、マスター。いつもの威勢はどうした？まさか、先の一戦でおじけづいた。というのはなしだぞ。君が命じるのなら、今すぐにでもランサーとの再戦に赴いてもいい。
Archer doesn't say it, but I can tell he thinks it's the right course of action. Oh, I must look pretty depressed right now, huh?
そんなわけないでしょ。私が打って出ないのはね、単に無駄手間をしたくないだけなんだから。
That's not it at all. I'm not going back out there because I don't want to waste the effort.
無駄手間をしたくない。
だって、まだマスターの数が揃ってないでしょ。今夜のはやむなしだったけど、開戦の合図があるまで戦わないわ。それが聖杯戦争のルールだって、父さんは言ってた
We're
し。
still waiting for a saber. The masters aren't all accounted for yet. Tonight's fight was unavoidable, but we're not supposed to fight until the signals to start the war. Father told me it's a rule of the Holy Grail War.
君の父親もマスターだったのか。
Archer nods in understanding. Actually, he's making a rather mixed expression.
何よ。何か言いたいことでもあるの？あんた。
What? You've got something to say to me?
ああ、一つ聞き忘れていた。リン、君は幼い頃からマスターになるべく育てられ、それに従ってきたのだろう。つまり、初めからマスターになることを予想していたわけだ。
当たり前じゃない。それはいきなりマスターに任命される魔術師もいるそうだけど、私は別よ。遠坂の人間にとって聖杯戦争は何代も前からの悲願なんだから。
Of course I did. Some majors are appointed as masters, but it doesn't work like that for me. I'm a Tosaka. Winning the Holy Grail has been our goal for generations.
なら、目的がとうにあるはずだ。私はそれを聞き忘れていた。主の望みを知らなければ、私も剣を預けられない。リン、それで君の願いは何だ？
願い？そんなの別にないけど。
My wish? I don't really have one.
何？
Archer's making a funny face.
そんなはずはあるまい。聖杯とは願いを叶える万能の杯だ。マスターになるということは聖杯を手に入れるということだというのに、叶える願いがないとはどういうことだ？
Archer drops all pretense. Right. Once the Holy Grail is won, the victorious master's wish has nothing to do with the servant. But that's weird. Father mentioned that servants have their own wishes too, but that's their own business. It shouldn't matter to Archer whether or not I have a wish.
よし、明確な望みがないのであれば、漠然とした願いはどうだ？例えば、世界を手にするといった風な。
なんで？世界なんてとっくに私のものじゃない。
Why? The world already belongs to me.
あのねアーチャー、世界ってのはつまり自分を中心とした価値観でしょ。そんなものは生まれた時から私のものよ。そんな世界を支配しろって言うんなら、私はとっくに世界を支配している。
You know, Archer, the world is just a set of values that revolves around yourself. I've had that ever since I was born. I don't need to take over something that's always been inherently mine. Archer looks at me with a strange expression. Man, he's stubborn.
バカな。聖杯とは望みを叶える力、現実の世界を手にできる力だぞ。それを求めるというのに何も望まないというのか、君は。
だって世界征服もめんどくさいし、そんな無駄なことを願っても仕方がないでしょ。あなた割と想像力が貧困ね。
World domination sounds like a pain, and I wouldn't know what to do with it. Not everyone looks at things the way you do, you know.
理解に苦しむな。それでは何のために戦う？
そこに戦いがあるからよ、ハッチャ。ついでにもらえるものはもらっておく。聖杯がなんだかは知らないけど、いずれ欲しいものができたら使えばいいだけでしょ。人間生きていれば欲しいものなんて限りないんだし。
If there's a fight to be had, I just want in, Archer. I'll take whatever I find along the way. I don't really know how the Holy Grail works, but if I find that there's something I want, I can just use it on that. Not all people live to acquire things, you know.
つまり君は。
ええ、ただ勝つために戦うの、ハッチャ。
That's right, I'm just fighting to win. Archer sighs and shrugs. Maybe he's fed up with me, but he finally relaxes.
確かに君は私のマスターにふさわしい。
I don't know how to respond to comments like that, so I wish he'd stop making them.
あ、サーバントにマスターを選ぶ権利はないけど、一応聞いとく。なんで私があなたのマスターにふさわしいのよ。
Sir may not have the right to choose their masters. What makes you think I'm worthy of you?
言うまでもない。君は間違いなく最強のマスターだ。
Archer thinks I'm the strongest master.
使える相手
Yay!
としてこれ以上のものはない。
そう、ありがとう。あなたに言われるなら世辞ってわけじゃなさそうだし。
Oh, well, thanks. That doesn't sound like flattery coming from you. I turn away to hide my embarrassment. Archer usually acts like a smart person, so his sincerity is blinding to me. Admittedly, I'm happy he feels this way. I've come to trust him, and he's come to trust me. I don't think this mutual sentiment is a bad thing.
さて、ならば一息入れようか。7人目のマスターが現れるにせよ、それは今すぐというわけでも。ちょっと待て、リン。君、あの飾りはどうした？
飾りってペンダントのこと？ああ、あれなら忘れてきちゃった。もう何の力もないものだし、別に必要ないでしょ。
My jewelry? Oh, you mean the pendant. I forgot it back there, but it doesn't have any power anymore, so I don't really need it, do I?
それはそうだが、君。
ええ、父さんの形見だけど、別に思い出はあれだけってわけじゃない。
Yeah, it's a keepsake from father, but it's hardly the only memory I have of him.
よくはない。そこまで強くあることはないだろう、リン。
As he nags me, Archer holds out the pendant I left at school. Oh, he picked it up for me.
もう忘れるな。それは。
It's so weird knowing that this is Shiro. Like, I haven't watched the original, like I haven't watched Unlimited Blade Works or Stay Night since my first time watching this, watching them. So it's weird knowing who this is. Archer avoids contact as he passes the pendant to me, almost looking bashful.
じゃあ、
Hey,
ありがとう。
I'll accept it. To be honest, I'm not sure whether to be embarrassed or play it off right now. The pendant is as I left it. As I thought, it really doesn't have any energy left. It's just an expensive jewel now that it's empty. But to put it in Archer's terms, maybe it still has meaning as a memento of my father, even without its power. I suppose I can laugh it off as a net win, since I spent my trump card to save someone's life.
What the?
Yeah, it's kinda strange. Wait a second. Yeah, it was supposed to be a plot. I found out before finishing Unlimited Blade Works, because I watched Studio Dean's Fate Stay Night before Unlimited Blade Works finished airing. So I knew going in who Archer was, while like a bunch of my friends had no idea. And I had to keep my mouth shut. It was so hard. Wait a second. I jolt up in my seat. I wasn't thinking straight while I lamented what I lost, but as I pull myself together, it strikes me. He saw us, so I ought to alter his memories. Meanwhile, Lancer prioritized eliminating the witness over fighting us. Lancer's thinking should reflect that of his master, which means if a master who went out of their way to kill a witness finds out that he survived,
そんなやつ生かしておかない。
they won't let him live. I stand up from the sofa. It's already been 3 hours. I might not make it in time, but I can't let this happen, not after all the trouble I went through. I sprint through the night. Fortunately, I know where he lives. Not because I bothered to find out, but because someone I happen to know goes over to his place often. I've never been there personally.
まったく余計な苦労を背負おうとしているぞ君は。
Archer gripes unenthusiastically. It's going to be as much of a struggle to rescue this guy now as it was to save him earlier. Funny how I feel like personality-wise, Archer's so more like straightforward, like compared to Shiro. It's midnight. The sky is shrouded in clouds. I arrive at an old samurai estate. The building closest to the outside shows no signs of life. There aren't many neighboring houses, so it's unlikely anyone would come even if they noticed something was amiss. My breath misses white. The wind picks up. It must be pretty strong because the clouds are starting to move. I find myself trembling despite the temperate Fuiki weather, and a chill runs down my spine. People call Fuiki a warm place, but you can feel the winter chill from the hilltops. The air is bitingly cold. The chill presses in and makes it harder to hear. In the midst of this air that seems conquered by the cold, I keenly sense the enemy.
さっきのサーバント。
He's here, the Lancer from earlier. I bite my lip. Something on the other side of the outer wall. Lancer must have infiltrated his house, waiting for its witless owner to come home to
飛
his
び
death.
越えて倒すしかない。
We
そ
know
の後のことは
what
その
Archer's
時に
been
考え
through,
る。
like being like going through the counter force and everything. So like it's not surprising Shiro became Archer and everything he's been, but like the personalities are so like different. We'll have to jump over. I'll think about what happens when it happens. Just as I'm about to order Archer to go in. Favorite? A flash. From the house emerges a radiant white light bright as the sun. Its presence is all-consuming. The power radiating from Lancer is being washed away by the newcomer's even greater aura. An instantaneous explosion of ether gives the spirit physical form, and the summoned being overpowers Lancer. No way. All I can do is whisper in awe, but the truth is staring me in the face. As if to prove a point, Lancer bounds over the wall, fleeing the compound.
ねえ、あーちゃん。これももしもの話。
From the CC flashes of Shiro's deadpan snarkery. Archer is snarking hearted. Hey, Archer, is that one of your hypotheticals?
さあな。だが、これで7人。ついに数が揃ったぞ。リン。
Archer is calm. Meanwhile, my rational thought goes flying out the window. What happens next should be obvious, but I'm not thinking straight. There's a strong gust of wind. The clouds cover the sky like an umbrella. Darkness shrouds the lightless outskirts of the town. The servant leaps over the wall and lands gracefully, like an unworldly bird. Archer reacts. I fail to even twitch in response. That's my fault. The fight ends before even a second passes. 1 second might be a brief instant to me, but it's a massive opening to a servant. A bladed wind closes in on me. Huh? Archer! Archer lunges in front of me, while the servant cuts him deeply. It really was just an instant. Is Archer, who so gracefully fended off Lancer's brutal assault, going down in one hit? Vanish! Archer! I made it in time. Before the servant's next strike takes off Archer's head, I force him to retreat. Pain throbs my right hand. Because it was such an extreme order, it used up one of my command spells. Now I only have one left. But this was for the best. It's worth losing a command spell or two to make sure Archer doesn't die. Without skipping a beat, the servant comes for me next. Don't underestimate me! Oh, that's a nice shot. That's a nice shot. I pull out a wind and imbued topaz and feed magical energy directly into it without any extra steps. It's a cluster of wind spells that I've been feeding into it day after day, and they're enough to blow away a house or two without leaving a trace. This is one of the 10 jewels I've been building up for the last 17 years without skipping a single day. Even if I can't beat this thing with it, it should be enough to slow... or not. It didn't work at all. The moment it touches the servant, what ought to have been a tempest that should hew apart anything in its path disappears like a simple stage magic trick. What terrifying magic resistance. Are you telling me that a mage doesn't have enough magical energy to hurl away the servant? That's why they were dropping that stuff about, archers, lancers, and sabers having magic resist. Oh no! My magecraft doesn't work, and I've lost Archer's protection. I have no way to stop this servant. Even I barely managed to dodge the first attack, I'm finished. I look up at the night sky. In it, I imagine a ruthless reaper coming for me, sprawled pitifully on the ground. What? Oopsies. Want to take a picture. There we go. Hurry! What? The wind blows. Through a break in the clouds, the moon peeks through a spiral-like sky. The moonlight highlights her elegant profile. So this is the face of the servant who drove off Lancer. Took down my archer in one blow, and shrugged off my magecraft like it was nothing. Best girl. That was an admirable display of magecraft, mage. The girl's voice rings clear like a bell, yet her voice is the stuff of nightmares in this moment. But this is the end for you, Master of Archer. The sword she's thrust at me seems to shine. I know that this is my dying moment. One glance is enough to figure that out. This is the card I wish to draw. A sword-wielding hero who's said to be the most powerful servant. I look up at the moon, prepared to die. There's no room to beg for my life, no time to escape. My death, Rin Tosaka's Holy Grail war, will have ended on the 3rd day. You'd think I'd go out hating my foe, feeling nothing but shame and regret. But I don't feel that way at all. Something seriously wrong with me. I'm one moment away from certain death, and here I am, entranced by my killer. Yeah, it's frustrating to be sure. But there's nothing I can do now. The strongest servant is going to kill me. She looks at all once heartless, utterly noble, and so very beautiful. Called her Magus and not Mage. Wait, what? Oh, drat, hold on. I have to mute. I have to mute for copyright reasons. But we have just finished the prologue with Rin. So we have played the prologue of Rin's part. We have just met Saber. Archer has been ordered to go away so he doesn't get killed. And I guess we'll do, from what someone told me, we have Shiro's prologue, so we're gonna do Shiro's prologue. Yeah, so this remaster is from is based off the Vita port, from what people have been telling me. And I have to mute because copyright. I am super duper like happy and thankful that TYPEMOON is allowing people to stream and like record videos of the game and stuff. Like anybody who wants to stream the game has full permissions of it, as long as like you mark things properly and like mute the song. So I'm very thankful, because other visual novels I've streamed before, I've been like given instructions not to stream more than 2 hours, or to make sure I don't go past like the first chapter. So ooh. Some of his apologies, my throat is. Wait. Do I just load off from where I left off? Did it autosave for me? I hope it did. 8:14, 17. Oh, just start new game? Oh, my bad. Huh. New game? Yeah, okay. Okay. Thank you, you guys. Okay. So we finally finished the prologue. And then I'll save once I get in. Ooh. Ah! I am the blood of my sword. It steals my body and fires my blood. I've created over 1,000 blades. Unknown to death, nor known to life. I've withstood pain to create many weapons. Yet those hands will never hold anything. Ah! So as I pray, unlimited blade works. Oh my gosh. Oh, the feels. Oh my gosh. Sure, yeah, I changed Shiro's no longer muted. I changed it last stream. So Shiro's no longer muted unless it undid it. I don't think, like, when I came to, I was lying in a burning field. It must have been a big fire. The familiar town was unrecognizable, smoking ruin. It looked like the scene from a war movie. The sight didn't last long, though. As morning dawned, the fire gradually died down. The towering walls of the flames shrunk to embers, and most of the buildings looked to have been collapsed. It felt so strange, being the only change in the... Oh! I was either fortunate or the house had been built on the luckiest ground of all time. Either way, I was the only one alive. Since I'd survived, I felt like I needed to keep on living. I walked aimlessly, thinking it would be dangerous to remain where I was. It wasn't that I wanted to avoid becoming what had happened to everyone around me, those scorched, blackened masses. It wasn't a feeling of disgust. some other emotion was driving me on. At the same time, I had no hope. It was a miracle I was alive at all, but I didn't think I was going to last much longer. There was just no way I was going to survive. There was simply no way I would ever escape this crimson scape, no matter what I did. That was how desperate, how hellish this place was, even through the eyes of a young boy. Oh! The scene where Shiro, like, talks to Archer and is like, with, like, Last Stardust playing and, like, talking about how, like, Kiritsu, like, the wishes of Kiritsu, like, passed on to him. Like, I get feels so many times anytime I hear Last Stardust. Either there was no air around me or I simply couldn't breathe anymore. I just collapsed. All I could do was look up at the slowly clouding sky. The scorched black masses around me lay motionless. The dark clouds covered the sky, promising rain. Good, the rain will put out the fires. I took one final deep breath and looked up at the rain clouds. I couldn't breathe, but I still felt pain. I said that out loud on behalf of all those people who couldn't say those words themselves. Yeah. Anytime I hear Last Stardust, I just get hit with feels, because that scene is, like, so good. That was 10 years ago. Miraculously, in the midst of all that, I was saved. My physical body survived, but everything else was scorched, reduced to ash. When a young child loses their parents or their home, there's usually nothing left of them. And so, everything other than my body perished. But as simply as possible, in exchange for my body living, my heart died. I'm dreaming. I squinted, seeing a bright white light. It was blinding. Light stabbed my eyes when I woke. I doubt I really knew what the sensation of blinding light was in the first place. Oh, is this in the hospital and Kiritsu adopts us? Huh? What? As my eyes adjusted, I woke, alarmed. I was lying in a bed I didn't recognize, in a room I didn't recognize. I was honestly stunned, but the cleanliness of the white room made me feel at ease. I looked blankly at my surroundings. The room was spacious and the beds lined it in neat rows. All the beds were full and it looked like each bed's occupant was injured. But the room didn't feel depressing at all. Everyone injured survived. I let my eyes wander. I looked out the window. A clear blue sky was so incredibly beautiful. A few days passed and I was finally able to take in the situation. I had no problem remembering what happened the days before, but I wasn't much different from a newborn during this time. Strange as it is, that was closer to the truth than it might seem possible. The fire was just that bad. I was rescued from the fire, I awoke in the hospital, my parents were gone, and my entire body was wrapped in bandages. I didn't really understand what was going on, but I did know I was alone. It didn't take long for me to accept my circumstances. Maybe I had no choice really, all the other children were in the same boat. And then later, in that moment, I, naive as I was, started to worry about what would become of me. He walked in. He appeared the day my bandages came off, and I started eating on my own. His hair was disheveled, his suit tattered. He looked a bit younger than my doctor. He looked more like someone's older brother than someone's father.
君がシロー君だね。
His beaming smile seemed to blend into the pouring white sunlight. His voice was somehow irritatingly fake, yet
率
extremely
直に聞く
gentle.
けど、孤児院に預けられるのと、初めて会ったおじさんに引き取られるの、君はどっちがいいかな？
He was offering to take me in. I asked if we were related. He said we were complete strangers. He looked like an unremarkable, unreliable guy. But then again, he was no more or less familiar than an orphanage, so I decided I'd go with him.
よかった。なら早く身支度を済ませよう。新しい家に一日でも早く慣れなくっちゃいけないからね。
I started gathering my things hastily. Even as young as I was, I could see he wasn't any good at it. And after he made a mess packing,
大切なことを言い忘れた。 うちに来る前に一つだけ教えなくちゃいけないことがある。
Before you come with me, there's one thing you need to know. He turned, asking for confirmation.
うん。
He asked so casually, as if asking me if there was somewhere I wanted to go. Yup.
はじめに言っておくとね、僕は魔法使いなんだ。
Let me be direct with you. I'm a magician. He said it in a serious, almost ceremonious manner. It happened so fast. Now that I think back, I was so immature. I just accepted his words as a fact. I took it as neither as a joke nor genuine sentiment.
じいさんすごいな。
I guess I said something like that, eyes wide in astonishment. And I was his child. Actually, I don't really remember how that conversation went, but every now and then my old man would bring it up. He would recount that scene over and over, acting all embarrassed. That scene might have been the happiest day of my old man. That scene might have been the happiest day of my old man, a man named Kiritsugu Emiya's life. You could say that. It was the one thing for him. It was one thing for him to tell a recently orphaned kid he was a magician, but I was no better the way I so eagerly bought into it. And that was how my old man adopted me, and how I took the last name Emiya, Shiro Emiya. When I said the name out loud, I felt really proud having the same last name as Kiritsugu. I'm dreaming. It's from my childhood. It's probably about 8 years ago, since it's been that time when I talked with since it's about the time when I talked my old man into making me his apprentice. Okay. Kiritsugu had started going away on a regular basis once I was old enough to stay home by myself. He always gave some childish, unbelievable explanation like, I'm going to an adventure around the world. Then he'd actually do it. From then on, that's how it always was. It wasn't unusual for him to be gone a month, and at times he didn't come home for half a year. The Emiya mansion was an expansive Japanese samurai-style house, and Kiritsugu and I were the only ones living there. It felt too big and empty for a child like me, and at times I felt lost. But I liked my life there. Whenever Kiritsugu came home from his trips, he would brag and tell stories like an excited child. And another child, one who shared his last name, always looked forward to those stories. Aww. I may have been alone in the mansion, but Kiritsugu's stories always helped lessen that. He was always pursuing a dream like a boy. I was weary of his whims, yet at the same time, he always looked so radiant to me. Maybe that's why I hope to be like him one day. Well, as childish as I might have been, I realized I needed to get my act together, since I had an old man with his head constantly in the clouds. Aww. Poor Kiritsugu. He tried to go back for Ilya too, but they always stopped him. January 31st. First day! First day! I hear a sound. The heavy rusted hinges on the door creak as it's being pushed open. Light pours through the crack in the door. My mind tries to shake off its slumber. Sakura! I hear footsteps drawing near, and I feel the winter air flowing in. Well, yeah, thanks for waking me up as always.
先輩、いつも朝が早いですから。こんな風に起こしに来れるなんて、たまにしかありません。
I'm not sure why, but Sakura looks more cheerful than usual.
そうかな。結構桜には起こされてるぞ、俺。
I don't know about that. I think you wake me up more often than you think.
藤姉には叩き起こされるから、桜の方が助かる。これに懲りずに次は頑張る。
Then again, Fujine is so brutal when she's the one waking me up, so I prefer you do it. Yep, I've learned my lesson. I'll try not to sleep in here next time. My answer is still half asleep. My My head's still not so right. Wait, my head's still not right, so even I don't know what I'm saying.
わかりました。でも頑張ってもらわない方が嬉しいです。私
Sakura is giggling. Goodness, I must be so sleepy I've said
ちょっ
something
と待
weird.
ってくれ。すぐ起きるから。
Give me a minute to wake up. The cold winter air helps at times like this. The chill snaps my lethargic mind wide awake. And in front of me stands my junior at school, Sakura Mato. I'm in my house's storehouse, and it's just about 6 o'clock in the morning.
ああ、目が覚めた。ごめんな、さくら。
Shit.
またやっちまった。
Yeah, I'm awake now. Sorry, Sakura, I did it again. This is the same shed that Ari was resting in, right? In Fate Zero, if I remember correctly.
朝の支度手伝わないといけないのに。
I need to help you with
そんな
breakfast.
のいいんです。先輩、夕べも遅かったんでしょ。なら朝はゆっくりしてください。朝食の支度は私がしておきますから。
Sakura is practically bouncing with excitement. That's odd. Sakura is really energetic this morning.
そういうわけにいくか。今起きるから一緒にキッチンに行こ
Don't know, I'm getting up. Honest. So let's head to the kitchen together.
う。よし、準備完了。それじゃあ行こう、さくら。
Okay, I'm ready. Let's go, Sakura.
いえ、その先輩。
なんだよ。他に何かあるのか。
いえ、そういうことではないんですけど、その先輩、家に戻る前に着替えた方がいいと思います。
I finally look at myself. I fell asleep working last night, so I'm still wearing my coveralls. The coveralls I wear while working are usually dirty. Who knows what Fujine would say or do if I went to the house as is.
まだ目が覚めてない
He's
みたい
wearing
だ。
coveralls?
なんか普
I don't
段
know what
に
he
増
was
して抜けてる
wearing.
な、俺。
Was it the first episode?
そうかもしれませんね。ですから朝食の支度は私に任せて、先輩はもう少しゆっくりしていてください。それに
そうだな。それじゃあ着替えてから行くから、さくらは先に戻っていてくれ。
はい、お待ちしてますね、先輩。
Sakura quickly walks out. Okay then, I'll change into my school uniform first. Then I need to collect all the parts I left scattered around. The storehouse is in the corner of the backyard and all sorts of junk is crammed in here. Though I've always liked to tinker with gadgets, so the place is a treasure trove to me. The old man forbade me into going into the storehouse, but I ignored his warnings and snuck inside almost every day. Now it's sort of a vase for me. Well, Kiritsu wasn't here for the most part. I guess you'd call this place my real room. The massive Emiya house never felt homey to me, but I've always felt at ease in here, surrounded by all this junk. Oh my gosh, thank you for the sub, Baka-Jam! Yes, visual novel. A majority of things in the storehouse are everyday things, mostly unusable. Fate visual novel. Finally officially out in English after so many years. I'm not sure whether I brought it all because I liked it in here or whether I liked this place because it was full of junk. Either way, I snuck into the storehouse almost daily and I made sort of a hobby of fixing broken things. I'm not the type to get attached to things, but it didn't feel right to just neglect things that are still usable. Or maybe it'd better to say the idea of doing that just bothered me. Which is why I stayed up all night trying to fix a broken stove.
反省は明日か。途中で寝るなんて集中力が足りない証拠だ。
I guess I'll be done tomorrow. Falling asleep midway is proof I'm not concentrating. I try to shake off my self-disgust in that. I gathered the parts for the stove and put them back on the shelf. Things waiting to be fixed. There's no more room though. Once I fix the stove, an old VCR is up next, both of which were destroyed by Fujine. We can set that aside for now. Okay then. I changed into my school uniform. Since the storehouse is like my own room, I have all the essentials, including changes of clothes in here. The rest are things like haphazardly drawn blueprints scattered all over the place, and little junk from my failed attempts at fixing various things. Also, there's some sort of pattern carved into the storehouse's floor, perhaps used as some sort of an altar in the
さ
past.
て今日も一日頑張って精
Wonder
進
what
しよ
that
う
symbol is for. Okay, gotta work hard again today. I clap my hands in prayer in the storehouse and turn towards the mansion. I walk from the storehouse to the mansion. This Emiya residence is a Japanese-style samurai house located on the outskirts of town. My old man wasn't from a notable family, yet for some reason he owned this giant house. That in itself was a mystery, and it also didn't seem like he had any relatives here in Japan. So when my old man died, there was no one else to inherit this mansion, so it came to me as his adopted son. Though to be honest, I don't have any administrative abilities, so things like inheritance, property taxes, and any other complicated things are all handled by my old man Fujimura. Old man Fujimura is a major businessman who lives nearby. Hiritsugu described old man Fujimura as the man who's like a Yakuza boss. Honestly, that was his own biased view. In fact, old man Fujimura is not like a Yakuza boss. He is a Yakuza boss. What? Well, Fujine is kind of tough but nice lady. That may be a problem in itself, but I try not to dwell on it. Anyway, that's why I live in this giant mansion on my own. It's been 5 years since my old man died. I'm sure it does fly. I sigh thinking about how much I've grown in those 5 years. I trained every day to become like Hiritsugu, but it's easier said than done. It's not surprising since I don't have what it takes from the start, but the fact that I haven't improved all these past 5 years forces me to reassess things. If I had to sum up my current situation, I'd say I set the bar way too high. I haven't even reached the starting line. No, rushing won't do me any good. For now, I just have to do what I can. Okay then, what I need to do now is go inside and get food before Fujine gets mad at you. Eh? Wait. Save. Our first decision! What I need to do is... Well, Sakura's route is locked anyway, right? Romance Emi. I'm playing as Emiya. I'm gonna do my daily tasks. There's a respectable dojo built within the Emiya house. It was added as an afterthought when the entire house was being built. Yeah, I'm playing as Shiro. There's nothing more than a hobby. It was nothing more than a hobby and indulgence.
さて
Okay then. I'll do some light exercise before breakfast. I'm not really studying martial arts, but my old man once told me, if you want to be like me, you need to harden your body. Since then, I've made a point of working out every day. Yeah, it's Fate's Day Night, the original, like,
99
the remaster of the original visual novel. So yeah, you play as Shiro. 99, 100. I finished my daily sit-ups and changed from my dogi into my school uniform. Since I overslept, I decided to work out just enough to satisfy me. A few sit-ups with no stretching should be enough. I'm not built to bulk up, but I'm not built to bulk up, and no matter how important they say bodybuilding is, it's not like I want to get into fights. I don't want to get into fights, huh? All I need is to gain enough athletic ability to handle unexpected situations and be able to move the way my silly ideals require. Okay. After all, the thing I want most is to be complete opposite of an athlete. Okay?
もうこんな時間か
Oh, it's getting late. I toss my sweaty dogi in the laundry hamper. It's already 20 past 6. The Emiya household's mornings start early, so even this time would be considered late for breakfast. If there was an option to just like... Well, I guess Sakura was making breakfast. I should have just gone... I don't know. Breakfast is already prepared. The appetizing scent of the breakfast Sakura cooked wafts towards me from the dining table.
お疲れ様でした。こっちも朝食の支度終わりましたよ。
You must have had a good workout. Breakfast is ready.
さけすまん俺が寝過ごした分さくらに無理させちまって
Oh, thanks. Sorry I made you work more because I overslept.
そんな全然無理なんかじゃないですよ。それに 寝坊なんかじゃありません。先輩は部活をしていないんですから、この時間は十分に早起きです。
Yes. Yes, it is Baka Jam. Well, actually, there's two. There's two, because there's also an assassin Emiya, which is Kiritsugu.
部活は関係ないよ。それを言ったら朝練があるさくらがうちに来てくれるのってすごい早起きじゃないか。
Clubs have nothing to do with it, and if they do, you coming by in the mornings must be a lot of trouble since you do have morning practice.
いえ、私は好きでしていることですから、部活のことは気にしないでください。
それは何度も聞いた。
Yeah, you keep telling me that, which is why I wake up early, club or no.
だから俺も部活に関係なく早起きしたいんだ。さくらが来てくれるならその時間には起きてないと失礼だろ。
If you're coming by, it'd be rude to still be asleep. To me, waking up early is waking up before Sakura gets here, and oversleeping means I make Sakura prepare breakfast on her own like today.
先
Now I
輩、
want to go back and see what happens if I hit the help Sakura option.
水釣り先輩、エミヤは粗雑なくせに律儀すぎてうるさいって。
Mitsuzuri is the captain of the Kyoto club Sakura is in, and she and I seem to cross paths often.
あいつまだ俺への文句をさくらにこぼしてんのか。
She has been sent here to recruit you back to the archery club.
はい。先輩が卒業するまでに何としても社でを鳴らせてやるって毎日頑張ってます。
今じゃあいつのが段位高いだろうに。あれかな、思い出は無敵ってやつかな。美化されてるのは悪い気分じゃないけど、それも人によりけりっていうか。
Is that so? She must be better than me by now. You know how memories get glorified? I don't mind the reverence, but I guess it depends on who sees me in that way too.
水釣り先輩、すっごく負けず嫌いですから、きっと心の中で先輩をライバルみたいに思ってますよ。
Sakura scoops rice into a bowl as she talks. Hold on, he liquids, you guys. It's almost 6:30. The Kyoto Club morning practice starts at 7. Attendance is not mandatory, but she doesn't have much time
藤
left.
根はそろそろか。ま、この時間に来ない方が悪いんだし、さくら先に食べていいよ。
Fujine should be here soon. Well, it's her fault for not being here on time. Sakura, let's go ahead and start eating.
そうですね。はい、どうぞ先輩。
Sakura hands me a rice bowl with a smile. Oops. I should be used to this every morning, but her delicate fingers catch my attention. I can't explain it, but it's awkward. I'm not sure if it's our age, but Sakura's been looking more provocative lately. Her casual movements are so pretty, she often takes my breath away. Maybe it's because I never saw Sakura that way before, but now I'm noticing how feminine she's becoming.
先輩、どうかしましたか？
いや、どうもしてない。どうもしてないから気にしないでくれ。
No, it's nothing. Don't worry about it. Honestly, it's baffling. Why am I getting nervous over my friend's younger sister? Sakura is a really good and considerate younger friend of mine, and she's someone I need to look after. She's the younger sister of a friend of mine. We used to be friendly, though. Initially, we weren't very close since she's a grade below me. It was only a year and a half ago that our relationship became more what it is now. Sakura started to come and cook meals for me when I got hurt, and things kind of stayed like that. I think this arrangement was supposed to last until I got better, but I guess something or other happened, and somehow she ended up helping out with household chores. Either way, Sakura is a good cook, and her cleaning and laundry skills are perfect. Having her come home early in the we are not on that route yet. Having her come early in the morning is a big help, but it's been disconcerting recently. Sakura isn't the problem, it's me. I'm sure being flustered by my friend's sister was part of the reason I feel guilty. Usually I'm unfazed, but when I blush because I get caught off guard like now, I wonder whether it's problematic as her senpai. Breakfast is lined up neatly on the table. A perfectly balanced meal of chicken with parsley salad, grilled salmon, blanched spinach, miso soup with radish and carrots, and grated yam soup.
いただきます
Thank you for the meal. Sakura and I sit down and bow and begin our meal in silence. A gentle tapping of the chopsticks is the only sound in the room. Sakura isn't typically talkative, and I hardly have anything to chat about during meals, so we eat in silence. Normally it's much rowdier than this, but the person who usually causes the commotion... Christina! Must have watched a spy movie or something last night because she's eyeing the two of us through a newspaper she popped up in front of her.
藤村先生ご飯時に新聞は見ない方がいいと思いますよ
Fair translation. Can I play vtuber outside versus experience of the Fate series? Like what? Like I've watched Fate Unlimited Blade Works. I've watched Heaven's Feel. The first Grand Order movie, the Solomon movie, Dean version of Fate's Day Night. Ilya Season 3, part of Season 1, the Ilya movie. Is there other stuff I'm forgetting? I don't know. Sakura remarks differently, but Fujine ignores her. Fujine is acting weird, but her being weird at breakfast isn't really all that weird for her. Sakura's used to it, and she's eating as if nothing's the matter. Sakura typically cooks up Western dishes. She really only began learning to cook Japanese dishes since she started coming here to help me out. Sakura learned to cook simple Japanese dishes, at least for breakfast, but Fujine and I prefer them. The Camelot was a movie? Oh, I also watched Cooking with Emiya. Not all of it, some of it. No, I haven't watched the Camelot or Babylonia series. I've actually been told by people, like, I think it was, which one was it? Someone told me that one of those were really, really boring. Now Sakura's cooking skills have improved to the point she's better than me, and I'm the one who's teaching her. Camelot got Camelot I might watch then if it's only 2 movies. But Babylonia is a series, isn't it? Oh, I watched, like, parts of Apocrypha. I skipped the part. For me, I usually skip things if I think they're boring, which is why I've, like, only watched, like, Season 3 of Ilya and the movie, Prism of Ilya. Her miso soup is flavorful and refined now, and she's even gotten to the point where she can grate yams and make yam soup. Actually, I think today's the first time she served yam soup.
Sakura, 醤油取って。
Sorry, Sakura, could you pass the soy sauce?
はいで大変です先輩先輩のお醤油は昨日で切れてます
じゃあ藤根のでいいや。取って。
I gotta take Fujine's soy sauce.
藤村先生いいですか
I wonder why she's so preoccupied with the newspaper. I don't know what it was. Fujine nods. The newspaper shuffles.
はいどうぞとろろ汁に使うんですか
ああ、とろろには醤油だろう、普通。
Everyone puts soy sauce on grated yams. They do? A line of soy sauce streams from the bottle onto the grated white mound. I stir the mixture up, pour it over my rice, and take a bite. The stickiness of the grated yam combined with the intense flavor of soy sauce.
うわ、まずこれソースだ
Oh,
ぞ、
it's
ソー
oyster
ス
sauce.
しかもオイスター
Wait. She tricked us! Fujine! Fujine tosses her newspaper onto the table with an enthusiastic flick of her
そう
wrist.
だ朝のうちにソースとお醤油のラベルを取り替えておく作戦
Well, aren't the bottles different normally for soy sauce and oyster sauce? The not so mysterious spy punches the air and also oyster sauce is thicker than soy sauce, isn't it?
朝っぱらから何考えてんだあんたは。今年で25のくせにいつまで経っても藤根は藤根だな。
Yeah, I've seen bits of Apocrypha. I saw like the Karna and Arjuna fight, was it? No, was that Apocrypha? I don't remember.
I saw one of the. I watched some of the fights in Apocrypha. I haven't watched like the whole thing.
んだ昨日の恨み思い知ったか
Hey, that'll teach you a lesson
み
after
んなと一緒に
yesterday.
なってお姉ちゃんをいじめるやつには当然の天罰ってところかしら
You and everyone else who ganged up to me deserve divine justice.
天罰ってのは人為的なもんじゃないだろ
Oh, second
なん
secret.
かおとなしいと思ったら昨日からこんなこと考えてやがったのか
I'll check it out maybe like before next stream.
People can't enact divine justice. I knew you were weirdly quiet. I can't believe you've been plotting this since yesterday. You have entirely too much free time in your hands.
そうだよおかげでこれから急いでテストの採点しなくちゃいけないんだからそういうわけで急がないとやばいのだ
That's right, and because of that, I really need to get to work grading tests, so I need to skedaddle or else I'm in real trouble! Bye, Fujine! Fujine sits back down, shovels her breakfast into her mouth.
はいごちそうさま
Thanks for the
朝ご
meal,
はん
my breakfast
今
was
日も
great.
美味しかったよさくらちゃん
Bye bye!
はいお粗末様でした先生
Oh, it was my pleasure.
それじゃ先に行くわね二人とも遅刻したら怒るわよ
Oh, I also watched Fate Strange Fake. I also watched the Fake Strange Fake.
And now I'm heading off. You two will be in trouble if you're late for school.
There's so much Fate media. I don't remember what I've watched and what I haven't watched for the most part.
And off she goes, stomping off in a rush.
I mean, I can do it on Twitch probably.
There's something terribly wrong with the world that allows someone like her to be a teacher.
But yeah, definitely a no. I can't react to stuff on my YouTube for sure.
すまないせっかくの朝食だっていうのに藤姉のやつろくに味わいもしないで
Sorry that Fujine barely savored the breakfast you took so much
work into making. Oh,
いえそういうのではなくて昨
What did
日
you-
内村先生に何かしたんですか食べ物に細工するなんて内村先生にしてはやりすぎですから
いやそれがさ
oh, I
昨
guess.
日ついあだ名で呼んじまった
Well, I accidentally called her about her nickname.
それじゃあ仕方ありませんね先輩内村先生に謝らなかったんでしょう
Well, I guess there's no avoiding her getting angry again. Did
う
you
ん面目な
apologize?
いいつものことなんで忘れてた
Sorry, I forgot, but only because that kind of stuff happens all the time.
ダメですよ藤村先生先輩にあだ名を言われるのだけは嫌がるんですからまた泣かせちゃったんでしょ
泣かした上にダットのごとく走り去らせたおかげで昨日の英語は自習だった
Not only did I make her cry, she also ran away like a scared rabbit. And thanks to that incident, yesterday's English class ended up being a study hall. In fact, everyone in class worked together to make an award for me from their notebook paper because of that. I threw it away, obviously. Oh, they gave him an award because they got
そ
Fujine
れじゃあ
to run
今
away.
朝のは先輩が悪いです
Fujine is like an older sister to Sakura, so she's typically on Fujine's side, which is fine on its own, but I wish she would consider the fact that I have to deal with Fujine all day long. Ah! Oh my gosh! Oh, thank you for the follow! Fujine was originally an acquaintance of my old man, and she swung by the house pretty frequently since I was adopted. She kept on coming over even after my old man died, and now she acts like a freeloader, eating breakfast and dinner every day. Actually, it might have been thanks to Fujine that I was able to make it on my own after my old man died. And now it is me, Fujine, and Sakura who are residents of this Emiya household. At the same time, I'm the only one who knows that my old man was a mage. These same mages have to keep that part of their lives secret, which is why I've also been hiding from others that I've learned magecraft after I became my old man's apprentice. Learning might be a stretch really, since I can barely use magecraft properly. So it wouldn't make much of a difference whether I hide magecraft or not. But since it was my old man's dying wish, I've been training in secret. I finish breakfast and get ready for school. I put away the dishes with Sakura as I listen to the news on TV in the background. Sakura is looking blankly at the TV. A flashy caption reading, "Gas leaks continue," pop up on the screen. Oh no, the gas leaks. There seems to have been a big incident in the neighboring city of Shinto. It appears in a building in the it happened in a building in the business district. Apparently everyone on one of its floors lost consciousness from oxygen deprivation. Authorities have been calling it an accident resulting from gas leaks, but for some reason these incidents have been happening
今のニュ
often.
ース気になるのか、さくら。
Are you worried about the incident, Sakura?
いえ、別に。ただ、事故がシントで起きているなら近いなって。先輩、シントの方でアルバイトしていますよね。
I probably won't be able to put the clips on stream though, but I can watch them.
してるけど、別にそんな大きな店じゃないよ。今のニュースみたいな事故は起きないと思う。
Yeah, the shop's not that big, but I don't think an incident like that would happen there. But I can't really ignore the idea either. Gas leaks can happen in any building, but it especially pains me to think that hundreds of people have fallen victim. Some say these accidents are happening because of faulty construction work done during the rapid development projects in Shinto. Either way, I hope there wouldn't be any more
物
victims.
騒な話だ。俺たちも気をつけないと。
It's a disturbing story. We need to be careful too.
あ、それならご心配なく先輩。ガスの
Don't
元
worry
栓
about
は
that, senpai.
いつも2回チェックしてますから安心です。
Sakura proudly
いや、
complains.
そういう話でなくて。
No, that's not my point. Yep, I've always known Sakura was a little off too.
先輩、裏手の戸締まりはしました？
したよ。缶抜きかけたけど、問題あるか？
I bolted it. Is that a
あり
problem?
ません。それじゃあ鍵かけますね。先輩、今日のお帰りは何時ですか？
What is a senpai? Senpai is what you call someone who's like, it's basically the equivalent of like upperclassmen.
少し遅くなると思う。さくらは？
I think I'll be home a little late. What about you, Sakura?
私はいつも通りです。多分私の方が早いと思いますから、夕食の下準備は済ませておきますね。
うん、助かる。俺もできるだけ早く帰るよ。
Yeah, that'll be great. I'll try to come home as soon as possible too. The gate is locked tight. Sakura and Fujine both have keys to the house, and the rule is that whoever leaves last is in charge of locking everything up.
急がないと朝練に間に合わない。
Like, I probably won't have them on screen just to avoid any copyright troubles. Let's go. You'll be late for morning practice if you don't hurry.
それじゃあ少しだけ急ぎましょうか、先輩。
Sakura and I walk into town. We walk downhill, along the wall, and reach to a more populated residential area. The Emi house is located on top of a hill away from the center of town. Heading down the hill leads us to the residential area. Going further down, we reach the intersection at the center of town. Hey, the bridge! Several roads lead out from the center of town. There's a large bridge that connects to the neighboring town. Now we get all the little pictures of all the different locations. And a hill that leads to Ryudo Temple. A residential area located opposite to my house. A shopping district that both Sakura and I often go to. And finally, there's a path that leads to our school. That's a lot of locations thinking about it. We head straight to the school without taking any detours. It's barely 7 o'clock, so there's hardly anyone around. Students making their way to their morning club activities are the only ones to be found along our route.
それじゃあまたな。部活頑張れよ。
See you later. Good luck at practice. I see Sakura off at the school gate as usual. Sakura is in the Kyoto club, so this is where we usually split off. And yet, Sakura doesn't budge this
Sakura.
morning.
体の調子悪いのか？
Sakura, are you not feeling well or something?
いえ、そういうことじゃなくて、先輩、たまには は道場の方に寄っていきませんか？
He's trying to get us back.
いや
To the dojo.
別に道場に用はないぞ。それに今日は一斉に頼まれてるから生徒会室に行かないとまずい。
Well, I don't really have any business at the dojo. Besides, Issei asked me to do something, so I need to go to the student council room.
そうですよね。ごめんなさい。余計なことを言っちゃって。
I suppose you're right. I'm sorry for bringing it up. Sakura quickly bows her head.
それじゃあ失礼します。晩ご飯楽しみにしていてくださいね。
Bye, Sakura. Stay away from Shinji. Sakura runs towards the dojo, almost seeming apologetic. What was that? I wonder what was that about. Gonna go help Issei with, like, was it a broken radiator or something? That's what it was.
一斉いるか？
Issei, are you in?
いるぞ。今朝は少し遅かったな、エミヤ。
Maybe you're just early. Issei glances up from his desk, looking like he's been studying
一
some
斉だけ
papers.
か？他の連中はどうしたんだ？この時間なら登校しててもおかしくないだろう。
Is it just you, Issei? Where's the rest? They should all be at school by now. Yeah, that's the
いや、あいにくとうちのメンバーは
Iskander
ビジ
and
ネスライ
Gilfred
フだ
from
ね。
Zero. Well, unfortunately, the rest of the members are
働く時間帯
okay.
はきっかり決まっていて、早出と残業はしたくないのだそうだ。
それで生徒会長自らが雑用か。ここはここで大変そうだな。
So that's why all the student council president is doing busy work by himself. Guess you've got your own problems to deal with.
何？好きでしている苦労だ。エミヤに同情してもらうのは筋が違う。
いや、一斉に同情なんてしてないぞ。
What are you talking about? I'm not sympathizing with you.
それはそれで無念だが、聞き流すとしよう。情が映っているということでは同じだからな。
Issei, who is gathering his papers into a single sheaf and taping the edge against the table, taping the edge against the table to square them neatly, is the big boss of the student council. He's been working to reform the student council, which has grown quite lax, and he's been a friend of mine since our first year in school. His full name is Issei Ryudo. Despite his old-fashioned sounding name, he has elegant features and he's popular with the girls. He's also the student council president, so you would think he'd have a leg up over everyone else, but that's not exactly the case.
やはり朝は舌がしびれるほどの熱湯が良い。
All in tea. It's saying stuff like that as he sips his tea that prevents him from quite sticking the landing. As evidence, Issei is quite plain. He's prone to be misunderstood, yet he neither dabbles in relationships nor does what typical students do for fun. He is the heir of the Yudo Temple, which sits atop the mountain. He himself understands that he will inherit the temple, and there's a strong possibility that he'll shave his head without so much as a complaint as soon as he graduates from
それ
school.
で、今日は何をするんだ？
So, what do you want me to do today?
ああ、まあともかく座って一服と言いたいのだが、時間がないな。移動がてら説明をするゆえ、いつもの道具を持ってついてきてくれ。率直に言うとな、うちの学校、金のバランスが極端なんだよ。
知ってる。運動系がひいきされてるもんで、他に予算がいかないんだろ？
I know, the athletic clubs are favored, and there's not much money to go around in other places.
結果、文化系の部員は絶えず不遇の扱いだな。今年から文化系に予算が行くよう尽力しているのだが、予算の流れが不鮮明でうまく回っていない。
Budgeting.
おかげで未だ文化系の物質は不遇でな。特に冬のストーブ不足に関しては打開策がまるでない。
Oh, it was a heater.
そうか。あ、マイナスドライバーくれ。一番大きいやつな。あと動線も。
I see. Hey, hand me that
これぐら
flathead
いならなんと
screwdriver.
か。
Oh, and give me some conductors too. Yeah, this one looks salvageable.
動線？ れか。すまん、よくわからん。間違っていたら叱ってくれ。
当たってるからいいよ。で、ストーブ不足がどうしたって？ここ以外にも故障してんのがあんのか？
It's fine, you got that right. So what about the lack of heaters? Is there anything else that's broken?
ある。第二視聴覚室と美術部の暖房器具が怪しいそうだ。新品購入願いの嘆願書が刻一刻と増えている。
I'm glad I don't have like
けど
ridiculous
予
amounts of
算にそ
paperwork.
んな余裕はないと。
And you're saying there's
や
no
っぱり
room
劣
in the
化してるだ
budget.
けだな。中がイカれてなくて助かった。
Good thing the inside is still intact.
うん。治りそうか、エミヤ。
治るよ。こういう時古いやつは分かりやすくていい。
Yeah, I can fix it. It's a good thing old machines are easy to
配線
figure
系の
out.
ショートだから新しいのに変えればとりあえず今年いっぱいは頑張ってくれる。
The wires just burnt out, so as long as those get replaced, this should at least last until the end of the year.
そうか。やるな、エミヤ。お前が頼りになると極めて嬉しいぞ。
おかしな日本語使うね、一世。
You say some weird stuff, you say.
もう少しで済むからちょっと外に出ててくれ。
Oh, hey, I'm almost done, so go ahead and step out.
うん。エミヤの邪魔はせん。
Issei quietly steps out of the classroom. He might be thinking that I'm going to start on some sensitive work.
デリケートといえばデリケートなんだけど。
Magecraft. Well, I guess you can call it sensitive work. I put my hand on the old electronic stove. No matter how long someone's been fixing things, they usually can't figure out what's wrong by sight. So the fact that I can means I'm doing something. So the fact I can means I'm doing what I'm doing is not ordinary. I close my eyes and look inside the stove by touch, and then suddenly, a single image pops into my head.
電熱線が断線しかかってるのが2つと、電熱管はまだ持つな。電源コードの方は絶縁テープでなんとかなる。
There are two places where there's a wire about to break. The electrical pipe should last a bit longer. The power cord should be fine with just insulation tape. Good, I should be able to fix it with just the tools I brought along. If the electrical pipes were broken, it wouldn't be fixable by an amateur. Had that been the case, a certain strengthening would have to be done, which no amateur could manage. But I should be able to fix this one by sight. This is the magecraft Kiritsugu taught me. Okay, let's
よし、
begin.
始めるか。
I take off the cover to begin my repairs. I already know where it's broken, so the rest of the work should be easy.
これだけは得意なんだけどな、俺。
This is the one thing I'm good at. That's right, I, Shiro Emiya, have absolutely no talent in magecraft. For some reason, I have the knack for visualizing the structure of things or blueprints, like I did just now. My old man once saw me imagine and recreate a blueprint. He looked surprised and then muttered, "What a useless talent." My special talent appears to be pointless. According to my old man, the fact that I can visualize object structures isn't really helpful. A mage normally wouldn't need to survey an object's entire structure like I do. He claims the mages struggle to instantly seek out an object's center or its core and transform it as quickly as possible. That's why reading blueprints is a waste of time, and even that only helps out areas for magical energy to pass through. And so, fixing broken stuff is one of the only good things I'm good at. After all, I don't have to open an entire thing to find its problem. If I can find the problem quickly, I can fix most things as long as I have the know-how to repair it. Though I only do that with things an amateur could reasonably be expected to
よし、
fix.
終わり。次に行くか。
Okay, done. What's next? I put away the conductors, pick up the screwdriver and wrench, and head out to the hallway.
いっせ、修理終わったぞ。
Issei, repairs are done. Oh, hey! A female student is standing next to Issei in the hallway. Rin. I'm a little surprised. The girl talking to Issei is Rin Tosaka, a second year from Class A. She lives in a giant Western-style mansion up on the big hill, and she's an extraordinary honor student. She's pretty, smart, athletic, no flaws at all. She's intelligent and polite, and she never brags about her looks. She's truly an ideal girl to guys, apparently. Which is why male students treat her like an idol. But Tosaka is just too good, and she's become unattainable. The guys all say that the only people who can talk to Tosaka are Issei and teachers. Okay, I'm also a guy. And I'm including myself in the list of her admirers. Tosaka's looking at us, annoyed. I guess rumors are true that Issei and Tosaka don't get along.
悪い。頼んだのはこっちなのに、エミヤに任せっきりにしてしまった。許せ。
Issei's pretty gutsy talking to me and completely ignoring Tosaka like that.
気にするな。で、次はどこだよ。あんまり時間ないぞ。
Don't worry about it. So what's next? There's not much time.
ああ、次は視聴覚室だ。前から調子が悪かったそうなんだが、この度ついに天寿を全うされた。
天寿全うしてたら直せないだろう。買い直した方が早いぞ。
If it's dead, I won't be able to fix it. It might be better to buy a new one.
そうなんだが、一応見てくれると助かる。俺から見れば臨終だが、お前から見れば仮病かもしれん。
そうか。なら試そう。
You think so? Then let me take a look. It's only about 30 minutes until homeroom starts. I'll need to hurry and fix it or I'll run out of time. Bye! I head to the audiovisual room, but I realize completely ignoring Tosaka would be rude. I turn to face her since she's been standing there the whole time.
朝早いんだな、トサカ。
You're here early, Tosaka. I blurt out the first thing that comes to my mind and then follow Issei. Bye!
ギリギリ間に合ったか。すまんなエミヤ。また苦労をかけた。頼み事をした上に遅刻させては友人失格だ。
別に気にするな。俺が遅刻する分には大したことじゃないだろ。ま、一星が遅刻するのは問題だけど。
Don't sweat it. It won't be a problem if I'm late. Where it might be an issue if you were late.
もっともだ。いや、間に合ってよかった。
Issei exhales a sigh of relief and then heads to his desk. It's exactly 8 o'clock. 5 minutes after the bell for homeroom rings, Fujine will enter the classroom. Phew. My breath is labored since I ran from the audiovisual room. Take a deep breath before I take my seat.
朝から騒がしいね、エミヤ。部活を辞めてから何をしてるかと思えば、竜道の太鼓持ち？僕には関係ないけどさ、うちの評判を落とすようなことはしないでよね。君、なんていうか、節操ないからさ。
Standing in front of my desk is Shinji Macho. He's been a friend of mine since middle school. His last name is Macho, and he's Sakura's older brother. He is 1 year older than her.
弓道部は落ち着いてるか、シンジ。
Yo, things at the Kyudo Club going well, Shinji?
当然だろ。部外者に話してもしょうがないけど、目立ちたがり屋が一人減ったんで平和になったんだ。次の大会だっていいところまで行くさ。
そうか。三辻も頑張ってるんだな。
Is that so? I guess Mitsuzuri is working real hard.
はあ？何見当違いなこと言ってんの？弓道部が記録を伸ばしてるのは僕がいるからに決まってるじゃんか。エミはさ、とっくに部外者なんだから知ったような口を叩くと恥をかくよ。
そうか、気をつけよう。もっとも弓道部に用はないから関わることはないけどな。
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Besides, I'm not involved with the club, so I won't really concern myself with it much. I put my bag on my desk and pull the chair back.
何それ？僕の弓道部には興味がないってこと？
興味じゃなくて用だよ。部外者なんだからおいそれと道場に行くの変だろ。
I'm not saying that, just that I'm not involved at all. I'm not a part of the club anymore, so it's not right for me to just drop into the dojo.
なんかあったら言ってくれ。手伝えることがあったら手伝う。弦張りとか弓の直し、シンジは苦手だったろ？
But if there's anything you need, just let me know. I'll help whenever you need it.
I remember you weren't good at fixing and stringing bows.
そう、サンキュー。何か雑用があったら声をかける。ま、そんなことはないだろうけどさ。
ああ、それがいい。雑用を残しているようなやつは首相失格だからな。あんまり藤村先生を困らせるなよ。あの人、怒ると本気で怖いぞ。
Well, that's good. A captain who leaves busy work behind won't be much of a captain. Just try not to trouble Miss Fujimura. She's terrifying if she gets mad.
余計なお世話だ。ともかくお前はもう部外者なんだから、道場に近づくなよ。
Bye. And with that, Shinji heads off to his seat. An all-important bluster as ever. He does seem moodier than
ふ
usual.
ざけたやつだ。自分からエミヤを追い出しておいて、よくもあんな口が聞ける。
なんだ、伊勢、いたのか。
Oh, Issei, were you here the whole time?
なんだとはなんだ。気を利かして聞き耳を立てていた友人に向かって、なんと冷淡な男だお前は。
なんで気を利かすのさ。俺、一斉に心配されるようなことをしてないぞ。
Huh? What does concern have to do with it? Haven't done anything worth worrying about.
たわけ、心配もするわ。エミヤはカッとなりやすいからな。真珠に殴りかかれば皆は喝采を送るが、女どもからは非難の嵐だ。友人をそんな微妙な立場に置くのはよろしくない。
そっか。言われてみればそうだ。ありがとう、伊勢。そんなことにはならないだろうけど、今の心配はありがたい。
I get it. Yeah, good point. Thanks, Issei. I don't think that would ever happen, but I appreciate the concern.
わかればよろしい。だが意外だったぞ。エミヤは怒りやすいくせにマトウには寛大なんだな。
It's for Sakura's sake.
あれは真珠の味だからな。付き合いが長いと慣れてくる。
Yeah, but Shinji's been like that for as long as I've known him. Get used to it.
そんなものか。
そんなものです。ほら、納得したら席に戻れよ。そろそろ藤村先生がすっ飛んでくるぞ。
It is. Now come on, get back to your seat if you're satisfied. It's almost time for Miss Fujimura to dash in.
あの方は飛んでくるというより浮いてくるという感じだかな。
The bell to homeroom rings. Normally, the homeroom teacher comes into the classroom 5 minutes before homeroom starts. But our teacher isn't what you'd call typical. Homeroom for class 2C typically starts 1 minute after your starting bell. In other words... I'm late! Homeroom starts with the sound of Fujina's shouts and hurried footsteps. Okay, I made it! Good morning, every... Fujine tumbles and I hear some kind of unnatural sound. Contrary to the hectic sounds of a few seconds earlier, the classroom is now dead silent. The mood shifts sharply. Ah! Oh my gosh! Thank you for the follow! No wonder Fujine is called a human roller coaster. But honestly, the way she fell didn't seem like a laughing matter. Fujine hit her head against the podium and she's lying on the floor. Seeing her lying there face down and unmoving has everyone imagining the worst.
前の席のやつ、先生起こしてやれよ。
Hey, someone in front, wake her up.
やだよ。近づいた途端パクって食べられたら怖いもん。
No, I don't want to. She'll probably like bite me or something if I get too close.
ミミックじゃあるまいし、さすがに藤村でもそこまでやらねえだろ。
She's not a mimic, Miss Fujimura. She's not a mimic, Miss Fujimura wouldn't do that.
そう言うなら自分で起こしてあげなさいよ。
Well, why don't you wake her up then?
俺パス。こういうの苦手。
Pass, I hate stuff
私
like
だって
this.
苦手よ。大体なんで女の子にやらせるわけ？男子やりなさいよね、男子。
I don't like it either. And you're going to make a girl do it? The boy should step up and take control. The students in the front row start to get rowdy. Those of us sitting in the middle rows can't see what's going on. So we all stand up to get a
ちょっ
look.
と先生動いてないぞ。気絶してんじゃないのか？
Hey, she's not moving. Did she faint? someone brings up the obvious. But the problem was, how would we get Fujine to the infirmary? We're all like comrades in arms after our time dealing with Fujine. Probably not thrilled by the idea of taking a teacher to the infirmary.
藤村先生、大丈夫ですか？
Miss Fujimura? Are you okay? The brave girl approaches. Fujine isn't moving. Class grows more
ま
concerned.
ずいって今の転び方。こう頭から直角に教団に突っ込んだじゃないか。あれで無傷だったら藤村無敵っぽいって。
Her head literally slammed in the corner of the podium. If that didn't hurt her, she really is invincible.
いっそのこと野球部にスカウトするのはどうだろう。
Maybe we can recruit her for the baseball team?
やめろよな、そういう脅しは。タイガーが顧問になった日には俺たち甲子園行っちまうぞ。
That's more like a threat. The moment the Tiger becomes the head of the baseball team, we'll be bound for the big quotient tournament.
藤村先生、藤村先生、ダメ、なんか反応ないよ。
Miss Fujimura? Miss Fujimura? It's no use, she's not responding.
お前目の前なんだから起こしてやれよ。
Hey, you're right next to her. Wake her up.
やだよ俺。もし死んでたら殺されかねねえ。
What? I don't want to. If she's dead, I'll be good as dead too.
だからってほっといたら後が怖いと思うし。
But things could get worse if you just leave her.
誰も近づきたくないと。
But nobody wants to get near
ね
her.
えな。こうなったらあれしかないか。
Fine then. You have no choice but to go with our last resort.
あれだね。
Yeah, that. Everyone's on the same page. Except Shinji and I. We keep quiet because the two of us dare not to be part of what's about to happen. Ready? Wake up, Tiger! Tiger! It comes out a whisper even with so many students speaking in unison. The word tiger is especially inaudible, and yet, Fujine's previously motionless body reacts.
動いた。効き目ありだぞみんな。
Oh, she moved! This might be working,
よし
everyone!
続けろ。学校ロートンの刑じゃ。
Keep going, it's the punishment of the tiger! Everyone must be on edge since midterm tests are approaching. This is a terrible idea on their part, but some students start to wave their arms and chant Fujine's
起き
nickname.
ろタイガー。朝だぞ。
Wake up, Tiger! It's morning!
起きないとタイガーです。
You need to
負
tiger
ける
up!
なタイガー。立ち。よし起きろ先生。それでこそタイガーだぜ。
Time to wake the sleeping tiger.
って言う
Like a sudden bolt of lightning striking, Fujine stands valiantly, as if ball hardly scratched her.
みんな何してるの？ダメよ、ホームルーム中に席を取っ
She's
ちゃう。
fine,
ほらほら
guys. She's
始めるから
fine.
座りなさい。
What are you all doing? You guys shouldn't get out of your seats during homeroom. Come on, get back to your seats and we'll begin. Fujine, back to her normal self, stands at the podium. It appears she recalled nothing between the time she jumped in the classroom and the time she woke up.
タイガー
Hey, the tiger doesn't remember
ないみたい
anything.
だぞ。
ラッキー。朝からついてるな俺たち。
いや、ついてるっていうのかな。こういうの。
The students shuffle back to their desks.
今誰か先生のことバカにしなかった？
Did somebody just mock
え
me?
してないっすよ。気のせいじゃないっすか。
No, absolutely not. Must be your imagination.
そっか、ならよし。じゃあ今朝のホームルームを始めるから、みんなおとなしく聞くように。
Really? Okay then, we're going to start morning homeroom, so everyone listen up! Fujine casually starts homeroom. She always goes on discretions about announcements, so it goes slowly.
そういうわけだから、みんなも下校時刻を守るように。
Oh, it's about not staying late. Which is why everyone should go home at the
音源
appropriate
は
hour.
6時だから、部活の子たちも長居しちゃダメよ。
Day closes at 6, so everyone doing club activities shouldn't stay any longer than necessary.
6時って言ったらすぐじゃんか。タイガ先生、それって運動系は免除されないの？
Tiger.
されません。それと後藤くん、 先生のことは藤村先生って言わなくちゃダメなんだから。次に名前で呼んだら怒るからね。
They will not. And Gojo, you better call me Miss Fujimura. The next time you call me by my first name, I'll get mad, okay?
はーい、以後注意します。
Yes, ma'am. I'll be careful next time. Toto sits back down. He doesn't seem particularly remorseful. Wheezy. When Fujine says she gets mad, she gets mad. Doesn't matter if it's with a student or teacher. And that is as close to serious warning, and that's as close to a serious warning as she's ever going to give. But Goto doesn't realize it.
それじゃあ今日のホームルームはここまで。みんな3次元目の英語で会おうね。
That's it for today's homeroom announcements. I'll see you all at third period's English class. Bye bye. Fujine waves and leaves. So that was Taiga Fujimura, the teacher of room 2C. Her nickname, Tiger. That might seem like a joke, but it isn't. She got the nickname because it sounds like her name, Taiga, but Fujine hates it. According to her, it doesn't sound feminine, but she got the nickname because of how she acts. So she kind of had it coming.
授業を始める。日直礼を。
Class will begin. Class duty, lead the greeting. As Fujine exits the room, the first period teacher enters. Because Fujine takes up almost all the homeroom time, mornings are usually like this for our class. So it's almost been 3 hours, so I think we'll stop it here. We just had a crazy morning with Fujine, and I'm going to save. I'll probably be back on Friday. If I'm playing Fate, then I'll be on both YouTube and Twitch. But if I'm not playing Fate, if I'm playing Weiss, I'll be only on Twitch. But yeah, I'm enjoying the game so far. And we finally got past the prologue, which I was kind of surprised by. It was quite long, but I've been having a good time. There's still the, what was it, half AP on Embers on FGO, so I'm gonna be doing some farming, some Bridge Night and stuff, and also looking at what the heck is going on JP, because they also announced a bunch of stuff this morning and I wasn't really like awake at the time and fully paying attention. So if you guys are rolling on FGO and stuff like that, I wish you guys the best of luck. I'll see everyone on Friday, maybe? I don't know. But anyway, have a good day or night or whatever. Bye-bye!